baseball as well in your neck of the woods, wherever that may be. If you're listening to us on the Fan in Madison, or if you're listening to us on the Game in Duluth Superior, or maybe WNFL in Green Bay, or the Fan, or I should not say the Fan, though, Game in Wausau. Man, we're everywhere. Everywhere you want us to be, we are there. And if you want to watch us, you can watch Wisconsin Sports Daily as well on the Growth Law video stream on Instagram Live, X, and YouTube at WI Sports Radio, plus also there on the Fan Milwaukee Facebook page. Injured Growth gets it. I had a weekend, let me tell you, I did. Yes, I did. It was fun. Last tournament of the year for the boy. So now we get like 4 weeks until fall ball starts and back at it again. He was mad. He wanted to continue. And there's nothing for you to do. I'm sorry. I didn't make the schedule. If it was up to him, he'd just play for the next 4 weeks and keep playing. I don't hear you.
Go out to the diamond with your friends.
Yeah.
Hang on. Play a pickup game.
Correct. And that I suggested that to him, and he was all for it. So now it's just a matter of getting parents together to drive said kids over to the diamond because nobody's really close to us.
Oh.
So that will be the next mission probably for the next weekend or two to get that done. So that was good. Charlie, your weekend, good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I spent, as usual, a lot of it working. But Saturday, I got to hang out with some buddies. It was still really smoky outside on Saturday, so we were trying to stay inside. We wanted to go bowling, but then the bowling alley that we wanted to go to had a private event that shut down the entire bowling alley on a Saturday night. Isn't that crazy? Like, this place is cool, so, like, we're fine. It's one night, whatever. But then we were like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So then we just ended up bar hopping. We went to the Umbrella Bar, which is mostly still outside, so that was probably not a good idea.
I told you, on top of the rock, man, in Franklin.
It was fun.
Dude, the place is awesome.
They had a band playing, so there was a ton of people up there. It was a good time. Then we went to another dive bar. I had a good time just playing darts, playing pool. It was a good night. Yeah, and then I worked Sunday morning, watched the World Cup at work. As I was telling Mitch, it was fine. You know, like, I like that I tried watching this year. I give myself a little pride that I, at least gave it a shot. I will not be watching soccer for the next 4 years until the next World Cup, probably.
Dude, I love it. It was so much fun. I watched the like second half of that thing yesterday, and then all of extra time. We'll get into that later in the show. Coming up today, Corey Knebel, former Brewers closer, part of the Brewer territory. Him and Kurt Hogue and JP Fryreisen do their podcast now. I think it's a couple times a week they're doing it. So looking forward to talking to Corey Knebel coming up at 3. Tim Dillard normally on today. He is off today. Charlie was efforting to see maybe if he could do it tomorrow. It makes sense, though, because it was the big man's birthday yesterday. So maybe he's having a little birthday celebration today since he was at the ballpark working yesterday.
No, I think he's actually doing more work today. And that was the reason he couldn't come on.
Really?
Yeah, he said he was, doing promos and preview stuff.
Come on, man. It was the dude's birthday yesterday. You already worked him. Why don't you give him a day off to let him celebrate his birthday? Go home, see his family, see his kids, have a birthday cake with
talented. They need him.
Man. Well, happy belated birthday to Tim Dillard anyhow. I was watching it on TV when they let the cat out of the bag that it was his birthday. So we'll get Tim Dillard on next week. I'm sure he'll be able to join us back in for our weekly hits. But Corey Knebel today coming up at 3 o'clock. I want to talk about over the weekend, obviously, because a lot of good stuff happened. I've been filling in on the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show and on the leadoff show. Back to doing both of those coming up tonight. I'll be on from 5 until 6:30 with the leadoff show. And then Tim and I tonight from 9:30 to 11 with the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show. And potential severe weather in different parts of the state. So we'll see how we get through all of that. But, man, just go back to Friday, would you?
Ground ball towards the middle. It's through. The Centurion around. Here's the throw for Marcy. Way off line. Garrett Mitchell wins it in the 10th.
Awesome. It was awesome. Right? That's Friday.
It's so cool to see Garrett Mitchell continue to do this. About a month ago, I said, all right, he's starting to get hot. I want to see a little bit more. Like, it's been another month, and I'm starting to get pretty sold on Garrett Mitchell, man.
All highlights, of course, courtesy of our friends over there at Brewers TV. That was Friday. Saturday, we had some more fireworks.
There's a knock up the middle. 1 run scores. Here comes Ortiz. The Brewers have the lead.
That made it 4-3. Churio, 2 RBI single. That was there in the 6th inning. And then the hero comes up again.
Liner in the left center, a base hit. That'll score 2 more. Garrett Mitchell comes up with another big hit. Throw to second base is not in time. Hustle double for G. Mitch.
Oh, what a phenomenal swing right here, and a big base hit at a huge time, especially with the Brewers struggling with runners in scoring position. So far this series, Garrett Mitchell comes up with a massive hit.
I know a lot of people were out on Garrett Mitchell. People were finding they traded Garrett Mitchell and all of that other stuff. And aren't you glad everybody was wrong? Aren't you glad we were all wrong on being okay if you move Garrett Mitchell to get something else? He can't stay healthy. Let's just move on. Let's go. And now, not wanting to jinx anything, and now here we are getting ready to wrap up 4 months of the baseball season. And this dude is raking right now.
I mean, if there's the right package, though, I'm still not completely unsold on moving Garrett Mitchell. You have so much young talent.
Yes, but you got him for 2 more years, right? You don't have, unless you move Cheerio to center. As of right now, you don't have a center fielder that can hit like this, as far as a little bit of power, all the athleticism, because Lara is great, but Lara is not Mitchell from a physical standpoint, right? So that gives Mitchell still the advantage in that aspect. Now, do you need Garrett Mitchell in center field if you have 2 big boppers in the corners? No. But in a perfect world, when we're building our dream team, right? Mm-hmm. Cheerios in center. Yeah. And you have 2 big thumpers in the corners that are going to hit 35 or 40 bombs. Cheerios going to hit 25 to 30 in center field and run all over the place and make unbelievable plays. That would be dream scenario, Sparky building a perfect team. Is that going to happen? I don't know necessarily, but Mitchell still has a couple years left here before you have to worry about Mitchell going to free agency. So there is no rush necessarily to move on from Garrett Mitchell.
But I also think if there's available players that have multiple years still left on their contract too, getting back a player that also has multiple years is going to be really enticing. And if you move Cheerio to center field, as the team is constructed right now, I think I feel comfortable with Jake Bauers in left and Luis Lara in right if you don't want Sal Frelick to be a part of that.
Bauers is a free agent after this year.
I get that, but I'm talking about this season, and that's the biggest thing. I know Jake Bauers has slowed down a ton over the past couple of months, but I think getting him into the outfield and getting Andrew Vaughn at first base on a daily basis and not rotating these guys around and getting Andrew Vaughn more playing time, you'll get more production out of him too, so it should even out. And getting these guys in daily rotation should get them more comfortable with their spots and what they need to do. And I think you can make it work this season with what you got. If there is a pitcher, if there is a third baseman, again, that's available, that is going to take a Garrett Mitchell, you shouldn't be afraid of trading him away still.
Garrett Mitchell in the month of May hit 293, 346 on base, 507 slugging in the month of June, right? That's pretty good. 852 for the month of June. And he was rolling at that point. That's good, right? You get that all year. Hell yes, you're going to take it. Then in the month of July, he said, hold on. 390 in the month of July right now. Again, today's July 20th, people. This isn't like a week. 390, 438 on base, 644 slugging, 1.082 OPS right now. This dude is on another planet right now. And that was after an 0 for yesterday.
Yeah. He's been awesome. But again, that also means his value is going to be up. I think there's going to be at least one of these guys that have been surprises this season, whether it's good surprises, Jake Bauers, Garrett Mitchell, or Sal Frelick, who's been kind of a bad surprise, that one of those guys is going to have to be dealt at the trade deadline with so many teams willing to try to compete, at least at this point in the season.
You can kiss the Frelick trade idea goodbye, because now that he's hurt, and we'll see to what extent.
It's just a 10-day right now. Yeah, I think if they can get him past that point and then maybe figure out how to get him to move on if he's healthy enough.
And he's going to have to play well prior to the deadline in order to have value. The Mitchell deal, he's only making $950,000 this year. That's nothing.
That's a steal.
RB year 2 next year, RB year 3 in 28, and then his free agent year is 2029, which would be his age 30 season.
Well, Mitch, Thunder Nelson, myself, were talking about this on the Mason Crosby show prior to this. We were looking at the Angels roster, and Mitch brought up Reed Detmers, and he's a guy with multiple years of control. No, that's not the guy I want to. Jose Soriano has multiple years of control still left, 2 years. He's pitching a lot better than Detmers is this season, just kind of overall. Detmers has higher strikeout stuff, has a better whip than Soriano. Soriano looks like a guy so far, what he's done this season, as a third starting pitcher in this rotation, which is what we've been asking about. And if you can bring that in and figure out how to make that move, and we've talked about before, it's kind of a little bit of a pipe dream, but if you could do Soriano and Mike Trout somehow and figure out how to trade some of these prospects, then you get a big bat and you get a starting pitcher.
And a gigantic contract. I pass. No, I don't want that deal. I have no interest in that deal.
What if you could flip Christian Yelich in part of that?
No, I still don't think I want it.
He'd be going back to California, LA, a place that he'd probably waive his no trade clause for.
And lose, and he's not going to waive his no trade clause to go play.
He's getting paid no matter what.
It does not matter.
To play at home, play where he's from,
or play for a potential World Series ring. I think that's what it is about right now, I would think, for Yelich. And, I saw ESPN, I think it was ESPN, put out a top 5 piece. No, it wasn't. It was Bowden, Jim Bowden in The Athletic. One of the guys he had moving was Kirby, the starting pitcher for the Mariners, who has a couple of years of control left. I'd entertain that idea. I would be fine with
Luis
that.
Castillo? That's another name that people have.
No.
But when he gets traded, every time he gets traded, he ends up being a star.
Yeah, he's older now. I don't think I want to go down that road either. I still am a big believer in Joe Ryan. That would still be the guy. But again, they're in it. So odds are that they're not going to do anything. All right. More good stuff from over the weekend. This one happened yesterday.
Another 1-2 pitch. Fly ball left center. It is back. It is gone. Say goodnight, Wild Bill.
My goodness gracious. Say goodnight, Wild Bill. That was crazy. Can I just point something out?
Sure.
My guy, Andrew Vaughn, had a bucket of gum that he threw at him.
Uh-huh. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I guess
it's a lot less messy than a Gatorade shower.
Oh yeah, because you're not picking all the gum up off the ground when you walk away. Yeah, but
they're wrapped up. That's fine.
What are you talking about? Contreras, in his post-game interview with Sophia Minard, they came out with 2 buckets. He stood there and said, "Go ahead," and they both boarded on him. So he was going to be a disaster either way.
Matter what.
Yes, it didn't matter.
I don't think bubblegum's fun. What's wrong with it? Why don't you like it?
I don't know.
You think it's lame, or you think it's
lame? Yeah, I'd say lame.
I don't think it's
kind of throwing a bag of candy on somebody. I don't know.
It's like a piñata or something,
No, I'm not in on this. No, you can have your take on it. I am not in on throwing a bucket of candy at somebody. But either way, baseball thing, whatever it is. But man, as a Brewers fan, and you are watching this all play out, are you just not giddy at this point about? My goodness, this team is unbelievable. They lost 3 to the Pirates. Oh boy, they may start to fall now. Oh, first series against Marlins. No Mizorowski, no Harrison. Oh, this could be it. Marlins starting pitchers better than the Brewers going into this series. I said it last week. It's going to be tough, right? Yeah, well, Marlins pitchers pitched fine. Alcantara pitched okay. Yuri Perez pitched okay. Wasn't like the Marlins starting pitchers got absolutely killed by the Brewers hitters. That did not happen. But the Brewers hitters figured out how to get to the back end of the bullpen for the Marlins. And that's how they were able to get into this game and win these games.
And the Brewers starting pitching pitched really well. A lot of these young guys went out there, did their job.
Shane Drowan pitched okay.
And then the bullpen, you saw almost everybody in that bullpen this weekend. And everybody outside of Craig Yoho had a great appearance. And Craig Yoho had a great appearance before he gave up the 3 runs in the second game too. I think that when you look at what we have in this group, we keep harping on needing another starting pitcher and needing a relief pitcher. As much as both those things I think are true, I'm also starting to feel more confident in both of those groups as the season continues to wear on, which is something that I don't think I expected. I expected a lot of these guys to start to taper off a little bit, especially in that starting pitching unit where you have so many young guys in that group. You're starting to see them still compete and find ways to go out there. And when Robert Gasser last Sunday has a really bad performance, comes into this game yesterday and has a great performance.
Yeah, 1 home run. That was it.
Has the resilience to come. Has the resilience to come back. He's been so good since he came back from injury. It's crazy.
Get out of here.
But Gasser had that ability to be resilient. You've seen that with a lot of these young pitchers. It's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, it has. It really has. Chad Patrick, all of a sudden, with a couple of scoreless performances out of the break, they really need him to kind of get back to being what he was earlier in the year. Another guy that did not have necessarily a good month of June was Aaron Ashby. 6.43 ERA in the month of June was not good. Now he's had back-to-back performances. Again, both these guys against the Marlins with back-to-back performances, but scoreless innings as well there. Ashby has only had 1 outing. Oh, no, check that. 2 outings in the month of July where he's given up runs. Gave up 3 against the Pirates in a loss, 7-6. Gave up 1 at Arizona on July 5th against Arizona. Other than that, he's had 6 scoreless outings in July. So hopefully he is starting to get back on pace too.
And those 3 runs were the bad pitch that Pat Murphy talked about against Esmeralyn Valdez Jr., who was just really hot that entire day, that entire weekend. Like, he just had a great start. He's had a great start to his rookie season. Like, that's just something that it was unfortunate. Aaron Ashby has been used so much this season that he needs some rest eventually. He got that rest with the All-Star break. I think the Brewers, even though I'm mad about it, we're probably pretty happy that he wasn't an All-Star so that he didn't have to go out to those festivities. He could just go relax a little bit. And now we're back to hopefully having what we had at the beginning of the season with Aaron Ashby.
And you just wonder whether or not you attribute to what happened in June to just overwork. Like, just working them so hard and so much that whether or not they'll start to pull back on that maybe a little bit here in the next month or so, and then maybe ramp it back up towards the end of September.
He had 45 appearances going into the All-Star break. That's absurd. He was leading the league in wins. He's going to be the reason that Jacob Mizorowski doesn't win the Triple Crown. I keep saying it. Like, this is crazy what he's doing so far this season. You haven't had a season like this from a reliever since the 90s, I'm pretty sure. Like, this is a lot of fun to watch from him, but you also have to make sure you don't blow him out before the end of the season.
Have to have him for the postseason and be right. So that was all the good news from the weekend. Then there was the bad news and Brandon Woodruff.
Same, capsules, damage to the capsule again. Same one I had, surgery on in 23. There's a, couple other things that are going on. That's not the real issue. The real issue is the capsule, and I'll have to get it fixed. And then, go from there.
So that wasn't good. Woodruff was going to talk on Sunday, but after Pat Murphy made it sound like it was the end of the world for Brandon Woodruff, everybody started speculating that he was about to retire, and Woodruff heard about it. He's like, forget it. I'll just do it on my bobblehead day and end this because I don't want this dragging on for 48 hours of people thinking I'm going to retire. Woodruff then discusses the decision to go through with the surgery.
I know yesterday the announcement seemed like I was having a funeral or like I was going to announce retirement or something, and that's not it at all. And I've got to have surgery. It's unfortunate. And, for me personally, I've got to go ahead and attack this rehab with the goal in mind of pitching again. So this is something I've got to have regardless if I'm 50 years old or right now. So for me to continue my career and keep playing, I've got to go ahead and get it done. And, doesn't take away the fact that it sucks because I've done everything I can to go pitch, but it's the nature of the game. I'm not happy about it, but it's a beautiful thing where this has all kind of come at a time for me when my third child just came. We had an All-Star break and I had time to really sit down and think about this, but I'm not having a funeral or anything. I know yesterday with the announcement, it kind of seemed, and I saw some stuff on the TV where this was supposed to be some type of big deal, but no, that's it. I'll have to have surgery.
I will point out for those of you that don't follow him, I certainly don't, but somebody retweeted him. Kurt Schilling sees this post on Woodruff, quote tweets it, and I'll paraphrase. Something along the lines of, hey, big fella, reach out. I'll show you how to get back through this and how to pitch essentially differently so you don't get hurt again, is pretty much what Schilling was saying. Now, I don't know what Woodruff thinks of Kurt Schilling one way or the other, and it doesn't even matter really at this point because this is the second time he's blown this thing out. And if this is another 2 years potentially before he comes back, I think Brandon Woodruff should listen to anybody that's willing to help him that has any type of experience dealing with this, even if it is Kurt Schilling. And where a guy, because again, look, not everybody likes Kurt Schilling. Some people don't like Kurt Schilling. Others love Kurt Schilling. My point is, regardless if Woodruff thinks he's a good dude or not a good dude or whatever, he should reach out and try and get some advice here.
If you want to keep pitching, like that's what it is. If you want to still be out there, you got to find any way possible to stay out there. And right now, this season, last season, you haven't been able to do that. So you have to find that way. And if he's the guy who's got answers, then you got to at least listen to him.
I've got a quote. We got some Packer news we're going to get to here. Significant Packer. I would say it's significant Packer news. So. He is 33 years old. That means he's going to be like 35 by the time he gets back out there with
Maybe,
no team?
maybe a little sooner than the last time because it's happening earlier in the season. This time they're doing it right away.
Earlier.
Well, it was September last time, wasn't it?
Yes, but he said he's going to have the surgery in the next month. So that'll put you into August. It's not that much different.
I mean, but unless he has it as early as possible in this next month, they know it's similar to what they did last time. I feel like the setup's got to be good.
Right, but my point is he's not going to be employed.
No.
There's going to be no income.
Well, the Brewers are going to give him some kind of contract again. You know that's what's going to happen. Come on.
You think so?
Yes.
They're going to give him like $5-10 million.
Yeah, and he's going to take it because he still wants to pitch.
Well, hell yes, he should take it. Whatever they offer him, he should take it.
And they're going to give him it.
Because then he still has everything else.
I don't think any other team's going to take a chance on that.
Trader,
the Mets.
Trader,
David
baby.
Stern's still running that. The Mets.
Or
maybe
the Trader.
Yeah.
Trader could do it.
Both those guys have to still have jobs by that point. So
fair point. Fair point on that. We do have some breaking Packers news. What say you, Charlie, using?
So this is from Jordan Schultz about 10 minutes ago. The Packers and defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt have agreed to a 3-year, $57 million contract extension with a $20 million signing bonus.
That's 19 a year. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. The Packers believe a healthy Devontae Wyatt paired with a new addition, Javon Hargrave, gives them one of the NFL's top interior defensive lines.
Ooh.
They view Devontae Wyatt as a key part of the team with this future deal.
Now, again, I don't know how they went about doing this. I would hope that Goody sat down with Gannon and said, please watch. Please tell me what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Goody just did this deal on his own and Gannon doesn't see the same thing Goody sees, well, Goody may not get the production he thinks he's going to get out of Wyatt, depending on how Gannon uses him. To me, this is another one of those deals where everybody's got to be on the same page of how much upside or whatever a guy may have before the organization goes and pays a guy. And a lot of times there isn't communication between the coaches and the GM and the front office. And the front office is like, I think he's going to be a stud. And then you want to know what happens? And this isn't all sports. Do you know what happens then? Then once that deal is made, and if that player isn't playing the way he's supposed to be, and now the front office is getting heat for the contract, the next thing that happens is the front office then walks down to the coach or manager's office and says, you're not using him right. I want him used like this. And then it's a whole big thing between the front office and the coaching staff. It happens in all sports. This isn't an NFL thing or an MLB thing or an NBA. All of them. They all professional, all these professional sports all have that stuff where somebody signed somebody to a deal, coaching staff wasn't on board with it, don't see the player the same way, and then there's big fallout. Sometimes the coach loses their job over it because they can't figure out how to utilize the player correctly. Sometimes the GM loses his job over it because it's not working and the owner blames him and listens to the coach. It just creates a bunch of drama where if you're all talking together and working together on, okay, how are you going to use them? Do you like them? This is what I see. What do you see? Like those conversations should happen.
Well, and I already theorized a little bit that Goody's been doing this with Matt LaFleur, strong-arming him a little bit with the financial decisions they've made this offseason into an offense that they think works better with the players they've drafted. And I think obviously Matt LaFleur has some kind of say in that.
Well, he drafted Dobbs and Wicks too.
Mm-hmm. Those guys are gone, but they decided to move on from them. They set a hierarchy in that wide receiver room, and I think that's also saying with the way that things have gone with the run game at the end of last season and Josh Jacobs' situation to begin this season, that they're leaning more towards wanting to throw the ball to the guy that you spent a first-round pick on and a couple other guys that you've paid money to now at this point. And Jordan Love as the quarterback that you've paid a ton of money to and is the first-round pick.
Do me a favor. In this break, let's look up on Spot Track and see defensive tackle-wise where this Wyatt deal places compared to other defensive tackles. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky, Fiver, Charlie using. I before we get to the more Devontae Wyatt extension conversation, they just, according to report, who was it? Schultz?
Yep, Jordan
Schultz reporting that the Packers have a 3-year contract extension lined up with Devontae Wyatt, averaging $19 million per year. Before we get to that, Charlie and I were talking about youth baseball and travel ball off the air. Can I just, I seriously, I don't want to make it a big topic or anything, but I just have a complete beef about youth baseball right now. And I don't understand when it started.
You and everybody else.
Why? Right no, but this is about like a rule that I just think is stupid. Okay. Just in general. And this rule applied when my older kid played, and it still applies now. And I do not understand what moron put this rule into place. So you have teams that are cheering, right? They got the little cheers and their little chants they do, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you're trying to get in the other team's head and you're doing whatever else. So there is a rule where you can't do the chant when the pitcher starts his motion. You have to stop.
Okay.
So it's quiet.
Right.
Why? It's not golf. You don't go to a Major League Baseball game and everybody quiets down.
Yeah, but
to
those are
watch
Major League
Wisniewski
Baseball
pitch.
players making millions of dollars. These are children.
Let
them try to pitch the ball.
No, figure it out, man. Literally, there was one kid this weekend, and I literally was like, if it's even kind of loud, he's gonna fold, and it happened. And then the other coach was like, "Oh, we got to be quiet. I'm like, hey, everybody, calm down." I was shaking my head. I was like, "This is absolutely stupid. This is really dumb."
Sparky wishing on the downfall of a 10-year-old pitcher.
Just figure it out. Like, I would tell my kids, "Shut up and pitch. Who cares what they're yelling? Throw the damn ball,
or just give them a break and let them try to have a little bit of fun in this."
It's literally, ah! And then
that's okay.
Then he pitches. I'd rather just have you yell the whole time. Don't stop. Think about it. If everybody's cheering and then you stop, then it feels like the spotlight's on you because now everybody goes quiet. And now everybody's watching you. Nah, man. Dumb rule. Dumb rule. Been saying that for 10 years. It's a dumb rule. That's fine. It's a bad take. Man, learn how to pitch through it, man. What are we doing? I don't understand.
Like in high school, sure, but these are kids. They're 10 years old.
I think in the high school it's the same rule. I don't think it's any different in high school.
That's a little different. Like, I could see why you maybe would have more of a problem with that, but these are 10-year-olds.
So dumb. I don't care if it's 6-year-olds playing t-ball. To tell everybody to quit cheering and to be quiet or whatever, like, just stop. It's so dumb. All right, sorry. I had to get that off. I was just seething watching this game over the weekend yesterday. I was like, what are we doing, man? It's not golf, man. It is baseball. It is in golf, fine. That's the rule all the way up, right? You can't make noise.
Right.
Okay, fine. I understand that. Tennis, fine, dumb rule, but they have that rule in tennis too. Same thing. Even on the PBA tour for a lot of those tournaments, they don't want anybody making noise or anything. Again, I think they're all dumb. All of them, you should be able to deal with noise as a grown person to be able to do that.
Those are grown professionals. Like, again, when they're children, I think you can give them a little grace.
Build mental toughness and figure it out, dude, and pitch. Who cares? If anything, it should motivate you to pitch better because they're yelling and screaming at you. And some kids just can't handle it. So we create a rule to make sure they're okay. Dumb.
On the Nicolay Law Talking text line 446771250, Tommy in Dallas says that is a new level of soft that I didn't know existed. We thought participation trophies were going to be the downfall of sports.
Yeah, it's so stupid, dude. I tell you, and this has been going on for years. Well, my 19-year-old played back when he played 11 and 12 year olds, 11 and 12 year age. They had the same dumb rule back then too. I don't understand. Okay, let's move on. Sorry, I had a vent. I had to, and we were talking about baseball and all the stuff going on in my life off the air. The last break, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I got this all pent up. I want to get off my chest. All right, Devontae Wyatt, 3 years. What is it? $19 million a year?
Yeah, but $57 million with a $20 million signing bonus.
Okay, so where does that put him amongst other defensive tackles?
All right, so amongst other defensive tackles, Devontae Wyatt right now is like Chris Jones is the highest paid interior defensive lineman in general. That's how SpotTrack has it broken down on here, because they also have Myles Garrett, but I'm not including him in that. He's making $31 million a year. He's on a 5-year, $158 million contract. Jeff Simmons is next up with a $35 million
Where does he rank total, Wyatt?
Devontae Wyatt is going to be way far down here. He is, they actually have updated. He's right behind John Franklin Myers of the Tennessee Titans, who got a 3-year, $63 million deal. right above DeForest Buckner, who's on a 2-year, $46
So what is that? 20th, 25th? How far down are we?
They don't have the numbers on here. You can make me count.
So what do you think it is? 20,
like
25?
Yeah, around there. Yeah. Probably 15 if you take out some of these guys that are more edge rushers that they have on here for some reason.
So 15.
Yeah.
So that means
they got like Myles Garrett.
So he's getting paid
Trey
like a
Hendrickson.
number one defensive tackle on the team.
Yeah. Or number 2, high number 2.
So that would be like Pro Bowl type player.
Yeah, I think so.
Not all pro. That's not what we're saying. So don't start thinking, oh, he's got to be an all pro to justify his contract. But that's like a Pro Bowl type player. So if we start talking about that, then what are we saying? We're saying what, Kenny Clark numbers? So you're expecting what, 6 sacks a year, 5 or 6 sacks a year, and stuff the run and be kind of a two-way type of player. If you're looking at this from a Packers standpoint of who you decided to pay and keep. Remember, there was that whole thing about Devontae Wyatt versus Quay Walker, right? Why didn't they do the same thing with both of them? And everybody thought they were going to pay Quay Walker, and they never did. But Devontae Wyatt held in there and eventually got paid.
Well, I think they just think Devontae Wyatt has a higher ceiling. I think they think he pairs better with a Micah Parsons. Quay Walker, yes, I think played well at points in the past season, but I also think at points you saw that he has a ceiling as a player, and that if the Packers weren't going to use him in a certain way as a pass rusher and different more complicated type of packages that I just don't think they wanted to run, especially when Micah Parsons wasn't on the field. I don't think Quay Walker just fit with what this team wanted to do. And I think you're also going to see that when he plays for Las Vegas, that he has a ceiling as a player. And I think Devontae Wyatt, you don't know what that ceiling fully is yet until he stays healthy for an entire season.
There are some that believe the Packers misused Quay Walker, that he should have been used more to go after the quarterback. So if
Maybe
the Raiders
see that with Jaron Cooper this year.
So, but if the Raiders, well, you change defensive coordinators too, Hafley's gone. So who knows how Gannon would have used Quay Walker? He had him. But now with Quay Walker going to the Raiders, if they use him that way, different from the Packers, and he gets 10 sacks or something, then people are going to lose their minds. Like, what are we doing? You just had, and we all praised Hafley, including me, right? I think Hafley's brilliant.
But if Devontae Wyatt plays 17 games this season and has 7.5 sacks,
that's good.
Are you happy then?
Yeah.
Are you fine with Quay Walker having 10 sacks wherever he is, but Devontae Wyatt's doing his thing?
No, because they're two individual cases. One isn't. One
yeah, but you chose
like
Devontae Wyatt over Quay Walker.
I think they could have. I think they could have chose both if they wanted to. I just don't think that they thought Quay Walker necessarily was worth the money at the end of the day.
So then are you comparing Quay Walker to what's his face? That
Nobody.
Just got
I'm comparing Quay Walker to Quay Walker in Green Bay. So if Quay Walker's numbers with the Raiders are significantly better than what they were within Green Bay, then that's on the Packers. Then that's on the Packers coaching staff for not getting the most out of them.
Had to make a trade-off in order to say, okay, we didn't want Quay Walker. We decided to go with other pieces somewhere else to spend the money. And again, that's Devontae Wyatt with this extension, Javon Hargrave at defensive tackle.
That's short term.
But it's still used. That's where you decide to spend the money.
Sure, for the time being. I think they could have gotten both. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they could have gotten both. Listen, you're not spending a ton of money at cornerback, right? We know that's not happening. You're spending no money at left tackle right now with Jordan Morgan there. And really on the line in general, you're not spending a ton of money. So you're saving money there as well. Your wide receivers are cheap as dirt outside of Christian Watson. That's the only guy you're paying there. So you got no money invested there. It's not like they got a lot of high priced guys. Micah Parsons and Jordan Love, obviously $50+ million. So that takes up a lot of it and changes the scenario for the Packers. But then McKinney's getting paid. Jacobs is getting paid. And that type of deal. What are you smirking about over there?
Somebody texted on the Nicolay Law talking text line again 414-677-1250.
Are we going away from?
Yes, we're going away because I went and saw what they were talking about.
All right, well then we're going to go to break off of this then.
Right,
fine. What?
Andrew Fisher is tweeting right now, and he tweeted a sunglass emoji with eyes open emoji. This is after earlier this morning, Stephen Nesbitt tweeted the Milwaukee Brewers are doing it again, which Andrew Fisher retweeted and then unretweeted and then posted the couple of emojis.
What are the emojis?
It's the sunglasses emoji, like the guy wearing sunglasses. And
like you're cool?
And then the eyes popping, like the big eyes.
No, I don't know that emoji.
Yes, you do. Like it's just like
I know the sunglass emoji, like you're cool type deal.
Yeah, but like
the big eyes, like you're looking down.
The ones that everybody does whenever there's big news happening and they're a part of it.
Maybe it's Madej.
Maybe it's Madej. That's what somebody else theorized
it's
on
Madej.
Twitter. Maybe, but I feel like you probably wouldn't be tweeting about that unless it's yourself, Sparky.
Listen. To clarify, even though nobody seems to want to put Fisher in their top 10 lists or whatever, I would absolutely be ecstatic if they actually signed Fisher. Ecstatic. And I will be ecstatic if it's Madej. You will not hear me complain.
And then if you do either one of those, you have him spend 2 weeks in AAA and you make him a major leaguer, right? You have to. You give him the contract. Why not? You have him go work out, see if they do well in
Don't do
AAA.
this to me.
Come
No,
on,
no,
man.
don't do this. You are screwing with Brewers Nation
This
right
is
now,
what I've
Charlie.
wanted all season. This
You-
is what I've wanted. I'm going to keep saying it because this is what I've wanted
No.
all year long, man.
You are screwing with Brewers Nation, what you're doing. Because what you're doing is setting us up for a letdown. Because, yes, that would be amazing. I get Andrew Fisher here by the end of August to be eligible for the playoffs for the Brewers, and he's at third base in the postseason.
Come on,
Oh,
man.
man.
That'd be so much fun.
Woo! I can't stop smiling. That would be amazing. And quickly, a side note, let him keep the face paint unless there's a rule in Major League Baseball that he can't.
I like
But
it.
if there's not a rule, let him wear his face paint.
There's not, because Bryce Harper, that's how he wears his face paint. Again, it just drags it down his face all the way.
All right, then there's not a rule.
There's
then.
not. Yeah.
Well, then he should be allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Don't be a bunch of.
They're gonna let him do it. It's all
They
right.
better.
They're gonna be fine. Baseball's fun.
It all depends who the manager
Sometimes.
is, man. I guarantee you, Ken Maka would never have allowed him
I
to
think
do it.
Pat Murphy.
There's no
doesn't care.
chance.
Pat Murphy
Ron
doesn't care,
Renicky
right?
would have been like, sure, go ahead. I don't know, man. Pat Murphy's old school now.
Yeah.
He's old school.
He's old school, but he's like the cool grandpa. Again, he likes letting the kids get away with some things.
Yeah. What is going on over here? Everybody wanted to talk about the youth thing going on. What is going
Do you
on
want to hit a
over
break
here?
before you talk?
Yeah, sure. We got so much stuff going on right now in the first hour of the show. We're all over the place. So Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Again, don't forget, 2,000 square foot center screen, over 30 sporting events at one time, shuttles to and from all Brewers home games. Miz and Peralta tonight. Oh, buddy. So that'll be fun. So yeah, to and from all home games, $5 same day wager gets you onto the shuttle. You can park in their covered parking garage for free. And with severe weather in the forecast for this area, southeastern Wisconsin tonight, might not be a bad idea to avoid hail and so forth versus being parked outside in an open parking lot at American Family Field. I'm just saying that's my suggestion. That's what I'd do if I was going to the game. And don't forget about the Potawatomi Sportsbook Kitchen. Full menu, right? Homemade pastries and desserts every day, all day brunch. Plus, you got over 40 beers on tap, dozen different specialty cocktails. Check them out today at Potawatomi.com. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Sparky here, Charlie Usen over there. Hope you are doing well. Can we ban Q from the dugout chat?
I like when Q chats.
Some of his stuff is so.
Q's my buddy. I like
Go
when he
ahead.
chats.
Go ahead.
Q says, "Can we get a daily Heat segment once LeBron teams up with Giannis?" You mean once LeBron comes to Milwaukee because he wants to team up with Gary Trent Jr. Actually,
no, yeah, right, yeah, no. Oh, can I go off about something else?
Sure.
The guy's name, I believe, is Ben Golliver. I think that's his name on ESPN.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he wrote a summer league piece today. I about punched my computer.
What was wrong with it?
Either he didn't watch the Bucks summer league team, is extremely lazy, or something along those lines. Giving out all these awards for summer league. No mention of Braden Burries anywhere in the piece. The man averaged more than Devonsta and the rest of the Boozer gets it for summer league. I'm like, look at Boozer's MVP, numbers. Yeah. Boozer's numbers aren't as good as Burry's numbers. Stop with that nonsense. And then, most electric one was Caleb Wilson.
He was pretty electric at points.
Dude, stop. So why didn't you just name the piece how the top 5 did in summer league? We make that the headline.
That's what it was, yeah.
But I'm stupid enough to click in to think ESPN's going to go love to Milwaukee since Giannis isn't there anymore. And no, we're right back to where we were before. And we're right back to where we were.
Maybe then he'll be on, biggest surprises later on in the year because he didn't pick him for his NBA Summer League list.
I was trying to get Gary Wolfel on, and maybe we'll get him on next week because he was at Summer League.
Mm-hmm.
He had a quote from one league executive. The comparison is so much better. Like,
it's not Malcolm Brogdon.
No, but similar type of player, right? To compare to Burries, but he's a legit star when he's not hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Murray. Hey, if he's Jamal Murray, okay. That's a hell of a pick if he's Jamal Murray at 10. Like, I will be super duper excited if he's a healthy Jamal Murray. Because that dude can throw up 30, 35 on a given night, whatever. Like, that dude was a bad man back in the day.
I mean, that also, like you said, the injury concerns, but I mean, you can't compare that to the players unless Brady Burris has shown that in the past, which he hasn't yet.
But talent-wise, how he plays, not really, Speedy Gonzalez or anything like that.
Also means he's not going to be very good defensively, obviously, which I think we already were kind of sure about at the same time, too, because Jamal Murray doesn't exactly play a whole lot of defense.
Well, he tries to play defense.
He tries. He has a lot of effort, but so does KPJ, and so does all these other guys, and still doesn't result in good defense.
Eric Name was talking to St. Andrew, who was their summer league coach, second round of duty, I believe, for St. Andrew on the coaching staff. And St. Andrew said that Burries keeps asking for individual clips of his defense in certain plays and stuff that he needs to work on and get better at, that he's constantly asking for film to watch to try and figure out what he needs to work on. Mm-hmm. That work ethic, that want to get better, that's what you have to have.
Right.
Not every player you draft is going to have that work ethic. And that's what made Giannis great, was his undeniable passion and work ethic to be great. Burries, if he has even close to what that work ethic was of Giannis, is going to be really, really good if he can stay healthy. And that's exciting. And then, you have the other guy, Nate Ament, who again showed you flashes again of what he could be. Is he going to have that impact this year? Maybe not. But once he gets stronger and gets going, hey, Nate Ament in 2 or 3 years, he might end up being better than Burries before this whole thing is said and done if, he can get stronger. And that really is going to be the biggest thing with him. And then same with Bogey. Bogey's got to get stronger too. They're big power forward. If he gets stronger, you saw him get rebounds and get the ball knocked out of his hands because he wasn't strong enough to hold on to it. So there are positives, Bucks fans, that we can dive into and get excited about here going forward.
And they haven't been coached by Taylor Jenkins yet, who clearly knew what he wanted out of his rookies by the film that he showed them. And he's a defensive-minded coach that should help all these guys out.
Right. All of that stuff. Oh, yeah. The whole somebody from the 262. Hey, Sparky, what about yelling? Hey, batter, swing. I don't know if you can do that or not. I don't know, because then you're interfering with the batter. You're getting in the batter's head. So can you do that still? Probably not.
Ask your league.
I bet you they wouldn't even. They'd probably kick you out of the damn stadium if you did that.
Banned, yeah.
Wouldn't even surprise me. Coming up next, Corey Knebel. We're going to ask Knebel about this youth sports thing. Yes, we are. He's coming up next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Let's get to it. Hour number 2. That first hour flew by. I don't know if it flew by for y'all, but it definitely flew by for me. That was a lot of fun there in the first hour. Got some stuff off my chest, which was good. Hey, summer's better with a Frosty in your hand. For a limited time, Wendy's is giving you a sweet deal on your fave summertime treat. A small classic Frosty for only $1. 4 quarters, 10 dimes. I'd say 100 pennies, but people don't even have 100 pennies anymore because they stopped. That's right. Summer should be fun, not expensive. Treat yourself and celebrate $1 Frosty summer at Wendy's. But hurry, because this deal's over when summer's gone. So get it while it's hot. Or, cold. Obviously, it's a Frosty. So $1 Frosties at Wendy's. 3 o'clock. Let's go.
It's time to talk about the crew. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
There he is, Corey Knebel, of course, of Brewer Territory on X. You can follow him there. Former Brewers closer joining us now here on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that is all. Corey, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Sparky, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Hey, lots to get into. Before we get into the Brewers, I want to get your thoughts on a youth baseball topic that I vented about earlier on. Do you have kids, Corey?
I sure do. I got 4 girls.
Oh, okay. Well, so you haven't gone through the youth boys thing, but you went through it when you were a kid. So I have a 19-year-old, so I went through it with him, and now I have a 10-year-old, so I'm going through it all over again with him right now. And I think it may be one of the dumbest rules that I've seen in baseball. I don't understand it, where the other team can chant and do their whole thing, but then when the pitcher starts his motion, everybody has to shut up in order for him to throw the pitch, and then you could keep doing it again. I don't understand it. I'm like, this is not golf or tennis or bowling. What are we doing? I don't understand it. I don't get it.
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh,
but I mean,
it's a Wisconsin thing then. Wonderful.
Okay, it's got to be a Wisconsin thing. Did you say it's youth baseball, though? Because, I mean, I played Little League growing up. It wasn't youth league, so maybe.
No, this is travel ball. This is travel ball. So it's. Oh. Yes.
Travel ball. Even the parents were ruthless in travel.
Thank you. Yes. It's so dumb. I hate that rule with a passion. It's like, let the kid figure it out. They're going to be cheering.
You think everyone in the big leagues is going to cheer at me? Oh, man. I've been to plenty of home clubs where my own fans are yelling at me. So better train them early.
Yeah. Train them early. That's right. There you go. Good. Corey and I are on the same page. All right. Let's talk about this Brewers baseball team. I guess we'll talk about all the good stuff, but we'll talk about the bad stuff, I guess, to start off and get it out of the way. Brandon Woodruff, man. I think every Brewers fan around the world's heart broke with the Brandon Woodruff news.
It is, man. I mean, the guy's been giving it everything. I mean, for 13 years now, 12 years he's been with the Brewers organization. I mean, it's just, he's given everything he can, and everything he's been through, his injuries, he has still come back. I mean, I found out he's having an announcement. I mean, I'm sitting here talking with my wife and with myself. I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's been through a lot, and I understand, what's going on. And then he says, he's going to go out and get that second surgery and go. I mean, that's just the kind of man that he is too. He's just he's a fighter. He's never going to give up. He's not. I think, honestly, man, just looking at it as for him and his family, it's showing the whole world that you just don't give up on your dreams, man. You never stop fighting, and what he's going to do, man. And he's going to go out there and he's going to get his surgery, and it's going to be a long road back, and he understands that. And I mean, yeah, it's heartbreaking news, man. It really is. I don't know what else to say about it.
I mean, this is the thing, right? So he's 33. I mean, the last time he did this, it took him almost 2 years to come back. So now you're talking like 35. And if nobody signs him this offseason, there's nothing coming in the front door during this time.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, I think that obviously the Brewers, they see what an asset he is in the clubhouse with the young guys too. I think that obviously I'm not going to say that all of Miz's and Harrison's success is because of Drew, but and his presence around, his veteran status, his playoff, everything that he's done for the Brewers, I think that it's huge to have him around and help out. And yeah, obviously I'm not going to expect them to go out and give him a deal just to keep him on, but it could be something where he just finds a new home, if it's not Milwaukee, just so he can be with the team to rehab and hopefully, get a 2-year deal with maybe some kind of incentives if he does come back in 2 years. Obviously, he's going to miss all of next year. And this isn't going to be easy. But if there's one guy that I know that can do it, it's Brandon Woodruff. He's not going to give up on this, man.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I don't think he's going to give up on it either. Corey Knebel, former Brewers closer, Brewer Territory podcast, do a great job. Him and Kurt Hogue and JP Feyereisen. Make sure to go and download that wherever you download your favorite podcast at. Corey, let's talk a little bit about this Brewers offense right now. There was always talk coming up through the minors that Garrett Mitchell could be the player that we've been seeing here the last couple of months, but unfortunately, because of injuries the last couple of years, he hasn't been able to stay on the field to show truly what he is. And we've seen other players, getting the extensions here in the last couple of years with the Milwaukee Brewers. Mitchell has a couple years left on his deal until he's a free agent. But Garrett Mitchell looks like a bad man right now in center field for this Milwaukee Brewers team. I don't know if it leads to an extension one way or the other, but he's playing at a whole different level right now offensively.
He is, man. He is. And Pat Murphy was the first one to say it, that once he can stay healthy, if he can get into his own, he's gonna become a special ball player. And he really has. He's obviously the year it kind of started off a little slow, and we didn't really know what it was going to look like, right? And spring training was looking good. No, he has, man. It's been very impressive watching him out in the outfield, making plays. But yeah, as of these past 2 months now, his bat has been on fire. I'm not looking at the numbers or anything, but I'm pretty sure he's leading the team in average right now. If not, he's a close second. But it's been impressive to watch him, man. And yeah, a lot of games have obviously been because of him. A couple walk-offs already, and go ahead home runs. It's really enjoying it, man. Really enjoying watching this club and watching Mitchell play right now.
Mitchell hitting almost 400 this month, hit almost 300 last month, has over a 600 slugging percentage in July, just at a completely different level right now. I want to get your thoughts on Christian Yelich as well. What do you see with Yelich and the struggles that he's had? Do you see, age catching up to him? Do you see a mechanical flaw? What do you see?
Man, this guy is obviously, he's had some of the best years in baseball, right? 18 and 19 and 21, coming back, it was after COVID year. I think that right now, he's gone through his injuries last year, or basically the past few years. And now at the beginning of the year, he had another back issue. And look, it's, obviously you don't know what's going on with him. And if there's something going on, he might not even say it. I don't think that it's something that is preventing him from playing, but it could be just a little tweak of something that maybe he's not getting his timing right, and whatever it is. It's just obviously the other team is really finding the. That's right. We're just at a point in the season where what we're doing in July. We still got 2 months of regular season ball left. He needs to be out of the lineup, right? He's still a huge asset to the club. I think he's still a veteran presence in the lineup, no matter what. Even if he's not hitting like the old Christian Yelich did, man, he's still going to be that fear in the lineup from the other team, and they have to pitch to him, which could also help out, right? Garrett Mitchell, Wild Bill. So, yeah, it's just baseball, man.
Okay.
That's just how it is.
So let me come at you from a different perspective on this. So obviously, he's meant everything to the Brewers while he's been here. He's been first class the whole way, whether it be helping in the community, dealing with people, in the community and the media, all that stuff. Everybody loves the dude. There's no question about that, what he's meant. But is it out of bounds then at some point, if it doesn't get better, to have a discussion with him if you're Pat Murphy to say, hey, man, it's just not coming, and we're going to have to move you down in the lineup. Instead of hitting 1, we're going to have to move you down to maybe 6 here until you could get going. Is that a fair conversation to have, or is that out of bounds because of who he is, and that means you have to kind of keep him up towards the upper part of the order?
I don't think it's necessarily of who he is. You have to keep him in a certain part of the order, but I also think that, Murphy might be looking at it as, I don't know how to be a manager. I think that's a tough conversation, but in my eyes, I'm seeing it as, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. And Milwaukee has been a huge, they've shown this year that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've had a lot of conversations, right, about Hamilton, about Joey O,
Yep.
where they're playing, where they're hitting. And you know what? Or who was it? Renhefo, before we DFA'd him, it's obviously he was hitting almost below 200 and everyone was talking about it, right? It's time to get rid of him. Well, you know what? We're the best team in baseball right now. So why would you want to change anything up? Like, who cares what he's doing? We're winning games. And yes, I think as a manager, if you're scared to make some kind of drastic move like that, because then what if, that changes the dynamic in the clubhouse, right? That's the most important thing. When a team is rolling, you don't want to get them off that train. So, I think that's a conversation, right, that Murphy and Yelich can have. Right? They're both, look, they've known each other for a long time now, and I think that's a very professional conversation that they can have. If he needs to move down the lineup, I think that Yelich will let him know, like, yeah, I think it's a good idea, or no, I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to figure it out. I think that's a between them two for sure.
Talking with Corey Knebel, former Brewers closer. Follow him at Brewer Territory, the podcast. They do an amazing job. Him, Kurt Hogue, JP Feyereisen. Download it wherever you download your favorite podcast at. There's been a lot of talk with the MLB trade deadline coming up that the Brewers need to add maybe a third stud pitcher to go along with Harrison and Mizorowski. There's also been recent conversation about maybe they need to add a reliever to that bullpen too. Where do you sit as far as bullpen and any bullpen help that they could possibly need? Would you be down for going and getting a closer of another team to add to the back end of that bullpen with Uribe and with McGill?
I like that. There's been some talk about a reliever. I've seen the left side of the infield getting some power right in the lineup, but obviously the starter. Yeah. But I do like, obviously, getting a closer at a deadline, I think, plays a lot better than what most people think about it. Having another high-leverage bullpen arm coming in just to help out McGill and Uribe in those high-leverage spots, I think is huge. In my eyes, the teams that I was on where we went deep in the playoffs, obviously the Phillies, we had great back end bullpen arms, and we still go out there and kind of surprised everybody that we went out and got David Robertson, another high leverage arm, and he ended up pitching great for him and out of Philly. So I think obviously you go out and get a starter, and if you can get a bullpen arm, I don't think we're going to go out and get like an Aroldis Chapman with the Red Sox and trade with us anymore. But then I think that can really benefit the Brewers for sure, and get us, if we can get a starter and a high leverage bullpen arm, that right there is a recipe for a disaster for the other ball clubs, man.
I totally agree with you. Corey, thanks so much for coming on, man. I really do appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll talk again here before the Brewers season's over.
Oh, yeah, for sure, Sparky. We'll talk soon, man.
All right, bud. Take care. There he is, Corey Knebel, former Brewers closer. Follow the podcast on X at Brewer Territory. Joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That is all. All right, back to the talking text line here. Okay, let me clarify something about this youth thing. So somebody said, I agree with Sparky a lot, but his take of cheering to rattle a youth level pitcher is way far off. At a minimum, any rattling like that can maybe start at U14. Under that age, the player should cheer to encourage their team, but but absolutely not to distract the opposition. Okay, listen. Let me clarify, because I did not say this correctly, I guess. I'll say it again. The teams aren't yelling at the pitcher. The teams are doing cheers for the hitter that are up, and they're just getting louder and louder and cheering for the hitter that is up, yelling and screaming, yeah, let's go, woo, whatever, or doing cheers or whatever, yelling, get my name. They don't allow you to do any of that. Once the pitcher starts, you got to shut up. Nobody is yelling at the pitcher at all. They're all got these chants. Every kid's got a different chant. So whatever the kid is up, they do that chant, and then they start yelling and clapping and going crazy and so forth. We were in a game a couple weeks ago. That was probably about a month ago. And the dad on our team did not know that was a rule. So he is standing by the bullpen, and he's egging the kids on to get louder and louder and louder. And this was going on. And the kid on the mound was just folding, like walking guys left and right and everything else. And finally, the coach on the other team's like, hey, they can't do that. They need to stop, blah, 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 blah. Parents and the other team are all mad at this dad for doing it. He's like, I didn't know that was a rule. I had no idea. And he kind of just walked away and stopped or whatever else. But you saw what happened. And again, kids were never yelling at the pitcher. They were yelling encouragement at our own guys or just be cheering loud. Can't do it. Then we have another one that just texted in from the 262. Played in Ohio a few weeks ago. They also said to quiet down once the pitcher was set. So maybe it's not a Wisconsin thing, but obviously it wasn't a thing when Corey Knebel pitched.
And yes, it's for your teammates. That's what the actual cheers for. But really, like, as a coach, as a player, you're doing it to distract the pitcher. Like, it's not to cheer up your teammates. Yes, it's for them. That's what the cheer is. But you know what you're doing.
When we were playing, it was, how old were they? 14 maybe, whatever. And there were teams that would yell at our pitcher type deal. Because our pitcher was very Uribe-like, I'll say, right? Very boisterous and showboaty and whatever else. And when he would end in half inning or whatever else, if they were yelling at him, he'd do the imaginary sword pull and slash and the whole thing before he went right at him. And they'd be yelling at, oh my God, that was the whole thing. But that was different. They were yelling at him because he was a showboat, right? Mm-hmm. So I understood. It was like, hey, whatever, do what you got to do, right? Because they're going back and forth. This here, they're cheering for their own guy, their own hitter.
Yeah, but again, you know what they're doing. It's not.
They're cheering for their guy.
They're trying to get the pitcher off.
But the noise,
like, they know that's what it does.
Yes, the noise for the pitcher can't handle it.
That's finding a little loophole in it. They would rather probably yell at the pitcher. Would be my guess.
No,
yes.
Well, not my kid would. My kid ain't like
your
that.
Your kid's too nice.
My kid is way too nice.
I think your coach maybe would be willing to use any tactics he can, man.
No, that's different. Yes, he absolutely would. But even he hasn't been a part of any of this. They just do it on their own. They cheer for their kid. So I can't stand any of it. Okay, take a quick time out. Come back. 5 years ago today, I heard Thunder talking about it with Charlie. The Bucks won the NBA championship. Mm-hmm. We may never see another one ever again. If I asked you what's the one thing from that season that will always stick in your brain, what is it? Nicolay Law Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials at WI Sports Radio. You can watch Wisconsin Sports Daily there on the Growth Law video stream on Instagram Live, X, and YouTube at WI Sports Radio. And, of course, Fan Milwaukee Facebook page. Injured Growth gets it. Hey, where are we at on bumper music? When are we due to do this again?
I think we said July 27th, didn't we?
Was that the next one?
1 week from today, I think so.
Okay.
Actually, let's do it Friday then, because then we can have it ready for the week after, right? Or should we do Thursday and then?
No, we'll do it July 27th. That's fine.
Okay.
So a week from today, we'll do it. And then we'll start it in August.
All right.
Whatever the first Monday is, or whatever the first day in August
Did we
is.
want to do a theme for these ones this time around? I think that's what we were saying. Like, keep it like summer theme. We could do like best opening guitar riffs, something fun like that. Ugh. Something that makes you think of football. That might be a good one.
Yeah, we can sidebar on this and figure out what we want to do. Yeah, I don't mind a theme though. I like the
that makes it
theme
more
idea.
fun, yeah.
Yeah.
People can get creative. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily. Sparky here, Charlie using over there. Charlie sounds of the day coming up in just a little bit. I just wanted to so we're talking about this coach the kids cheering. The kid gets distracted or cries, grow up. Yeah, I'd love to tell you that I don't see crying when I'm watching 10U baseball, but I see crying a lot when I'm watching 10U baseball from these kids. A lot, I tell you.
A lot of, like, when I was younger, I kind of had a problem with that too. I would get very emotional if I'm not doing well, or I get mad about something. Like, I think it just, like, so many kids get so competitive at such a younger age now too, and they just, like,
You think that's what it is?
I think that's part of it. I think also part of it is that you have so many different things available to them where they're just winning, like, all the time, like video games that are super easy, games on phones and apps and stuff. You just win so much when maybe it's not as deserved, and then when you go into a situation where you really have to earn a win and it doesn't work out, they get frustrated.
Maybe. I don't know. They definitely cry way more than I did when we were 10. And again, I know
also think
I'm being old guy. I understand. I'm just saying, like, it is completely different.
Times have changed, and
absolutely,
and crying is a little more acceptable by a lot of parents, just for men in general, for boys in general.
Ding,
so
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
ding, ding, ding. That is 1,000% accurate how you just assessed that thing. Okay, so 5 years ago today, the Bucks won the championship. What's your favorite memory from that season that you are going to have? I don't know, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, right? When we start talking about that year, what's it going to be? What's going to be that memory? Doug and Racine, you're first up on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. You can hop on as well, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. What's up, Doug?
I got two real quick. One is Giannis sitting in the chair, realizing what he had done.
Yep.
And then the second one is the plane flight, I believe, to the Olympics, where Drew and Giannis are sitting there, and Devin Booker was in the background going, "Oh man, I wish I could have won the championship."
Yes, that's another one. Those are both really, really good. Strong memory from you on that.
I wanted to tell you something. I've watched almost all of the summer league for the Bucks, and I've gotten to know the players, Austin, Booby, and all of them, just because Giannis left. I have never watched the summer league much before.
Yep. And that's the thing, right? I mean,
this year, I've really watched it and seen them grow. These guys have grown a lot in that summer league.
I totally agree with you on that. And that is the one thing where I'm anxious to see where the casual fans, that maybe weren't all in on the Bucks prior to Giannis and now started paying attention because of Giannis, how many of those fans now are going to continue being all in on the Bucks versus how many of them are just going to stop following the Bucks in general now because Giannis is gone?
I want to see the Bucks get like the 5th seed and then really screw Portland out of that first round pick.
Oh, that would be interesting indeed. Yes.
Oh, would that be? Keep Tyler Hero, get everybody going, and just get up in the 4th, 5th, 6th seed and just say, hey, too bad, Portland, you're not getting a number 1 pick.
That would be good. I would enjoy that. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. I really do think that part of all of this with this Bucks team and how people are going to go about watching it, it's going to depend really on the first month of the season. I really do. If the Bucks get off to a hot start and got good vibes going, I think you're going to be able to hook some people into buying tickets and going to check it out. If they get off to a bad start in October and November, they've got 4 wins after the first month and a half, then you're going to lose them for the year, and it's going to be a ghost town at Fiserv Forum for the rest of the year.
But also, I think you're starting off with a lot bigger of a base pool than you ever have before in the history of your franchise's history. Because, like Doug, I think a lot of people have been bought into the Bucks since winning the championship in 2021. That you get to this point where, all right, I'm still a fan because they won us that championship. Let's see what happens at least first. Yeah, if they start sucking, you're going to lose another half of that fan base. But it's still a lot bigger than you've ever started with in the past.
That's exactly correct. And this is going to be all part of you. Funny, you talked about earlier about why kids are crying because it's easy to win and they're not used to not winning. And that's why they get so emotional. Well, some Bucks fans have only known Bucks Giannis, have no idea what it's like. Most Packer fans only know Favre, Rodgers, Love. They've never went through a long stretch of not making the playoffs and not having a good quarterback. That's all they've known. So if and when it gets to that point, will those Packer fans still be Packer fans, or will they be like, yeah, screw this, I'm not watching this anymore, I have no interest? That's the thing, because even when you look at, the 20-some-year-olds right now, a lot of these kids aren't even watching the games. They just watch the highlights on TikTok or whatever the case may be. They're not sitting down and watching a 3-hour NFL game. That's not happening anymore. They just don't do it. And even if they're out at, let's say they're out at the bar, well, they're watching all the games on, or they're watching Red Zone or whatever. And you're not sitting down and just watching your favorite team necessarily for 3 hours. That has become more and more of a passe thing, I think I would say, with a lot of the younger demo. And that's why when you start talking about the future of sports and all of this stuff, it's going to be fun to see how TV ratings and streaming numbers and all that changes as some of us older folk die off. And these younger group that's coming, if their viewing habits don't change, there's going to be a plummeting on the other side of this bad boy for watching sports in this country.
Well, and I think with the Packers, you at least have the benefit of fandom kind of being generational because you've had such a long history of success that it just kind of gets passed down that you're a Packers fan, no matter whether they're good or bad. Most of the time they're good, so it makes it easy to be a Packers fan. Yeah, you might lose part of that fan base, but I think at the same time, it's just always instilled. I think with Bucks fans, you're going to start seeing that maybe a little bit more, even though they might be bad here for a stretch. You're going to start seeing parents have kids that where the parents watch them win a championship in 2021 and will be Bucks fans for life because they watched that championship. So then their kids are going to be Bucks fans for life because we went to every game growing up with my dad because he loved watching the Bucks. Or my mom put every game on the TV because she's watched every single one since they won the championship in 2021. Again, you're just going to have a bigger base pool every single year of fans because you won that championship, man.
But it's all going to be gone if you put together 5 losing seasons in a row. It's gone. It's going to be history. Nobody's going to care. It's going to go back to being how it used to be where nobody cared. And it's going to be the same thing for the Packers or the Brewers. If any of these organizations go through any type of long losing stretch where they're not postseason and they're under 500, I'm telling you, there is not going to be the same holding power for the core fan base as there used to be as far as watching it. I remember growing up, people didn't go to Brewers games. It just wasn't a thing. There was a stretch there where when I was in high school, there were more fans of other teams like the Athletics than there was of the Brewers themselves when I was in high school because they were so bad. People just didn't care about them. And that's what you don't want to have happen to the Bucks here when you take that, that next step kind of going forward. But the 920, JB and the 920. Good show, boys. I do have to say, I don't understand this. Even if it's travel ball, why is it okay to tell a kid they suck? That's no. They're cheering for their own hitters is what's going on. That is what they're told has to stop happening. So they essentially want it to be quiet for the pitcher to throw the baseball. They don't want the cheering to continue all the way through the process. So once the pitcher gets set and starts his motion, everybody has to stop cheering for the kid that's up to bat. That's what we're talking about. 414, without a star, no NBA team is fun to watch.
I don't think that's 100% true. I think if you have the right broadcasting team, if you have a bunch of young players that have exciting moments, I think they weren't the biggest fan base, but they also haven't really won his franchise history either. But the Charlotte Hornets were able to kind of survive a little bit and make some noise throughout the league when they had LaMelo because he's an exciting young player. And because the announcers were really exciting, the team did a really good job of promoting things. The Kings have done an okay job of that. Like, I think you can find ways to still keep people engaged and have fun despite not being a great team.
I have so many youth baseball things on here right now. For the 414, if fans that only became fans during Giannis's tenure jump off the ship, then they're not real fans. Fine.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. There were a lot of fans that jumped off the Packers ship because Brett Favre left. Plenty of fans. He split the fandom. Now, some of those fans came back once Favre's career was over and started cheering for the Packers again. That absolutely happened. No question. Everything else on this talking text line is all youth baseball.
That's all your fault, man.
It's literally 414. Drew stealing the ball from Booker and assisting the Giannis dunk at the end of the game 5. There is no Larry OB without Drew. Yeah, totally good.
He was so important. You saw it the year they traded him away.
50
man.
in that game, man. It was everything.
You saw the year they traded him away. The toll it took on Giannis having to pick up the slack on defense when you trade away Drew Holiday. Brook Lopez, I think you saw him decline a little bit as a defender when you took away Drew Holiday. You saw a lot of things change, and I don't think Giannis is as free to score 50 points if he doesn't have Drew Holiday playing defense as well and as much as he was.
Correct. All of that. I think all of that works together one way or the other. We're going to talk more about that finals run with Jim Owczarski of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He'll join us coming up at 4:20. So a little over under an hour, I should say, from right now. He's been doing a great piece in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, kind of putting together a story here, a story there, about things that happened during that finals run for the Bucks. So 4:20, we'll get to Jim Owczarski of the Journal-Sentinel. Joining us now on the Nicolay Law Talking text line is James, south side of Milwaukee. What's up, James?
Yeah, Sparky, just think the game is of inches. If that guy wouldn't have made that Buck guy wouldn't have did what he did there, we wouldn't have got to the playoffs or nothing like that. You wouldn't have even had a championship.
What Buck guy? What are you talking about?
That one in 21 and when they won the championship there in 21 there, they got them to the playoffs and got them into the thing there. That over the line, under the line type of thing there.
The Kevin Durant shoe that was a half size too big you're talking about?
Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone. We wouldn't even won a playoff game or anything else. I mean, we wouldn't have probably won a championship at all.
That's the one thing. Yeah, you're right about that. Thanks for the call. That's the one thing that I will never forget, which is being on the radio and watching TNT guys and everybody wanting Mike Budenholzer fired in that net series. Everybody wanted him fired. Like, don't let him coach the next game. Just fire him now. Everybody was criticizing Budenholzer up and down for the job he was doing. And then later you find out that, yeah, they were going to fire him. If they lost that series, Budenholzer was getting fired at the end of that series. And thankfully, they didn't lose, and they ended up winning a championship. And once you win a championship, you get an extension. It's a law. It's not written, but everybody knows if you win a championship, I don't care what your track record was prior, what coach you are and what level you're in, you're getting a contract extension if you win a championship.
Yeah, but a contract extension nowadays doesn't guarantee job security. Yes, it guarantees the amount of money that you're getting from that team. That's all that
matters.
But they fired his butt real fast once he started going downhill again.
No, you're right. They absolutely did. Jeff in Greendale, you're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily with me, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, not much, Sparky. For me, that championship is the block. I mean, I have other memories that will come after that, but just how Giannis shifted. You know, he was taking the ball one-on-one, and it got passed, so he had to adjust. He makes that adjustment and goes and makes the block at the same time. So that whole transition of him being in one spot to turn around and make the block, to me, was something that just stands out in that whole series. Again, there are many other good memories that people are bringing up, and some that I'm probably not even thinking of at the moment. But for me, it was that. And to your point, Sparky, for that person that said there's no superstar, they're boring to watch.
Yep.
Sparky, I think between us two, we remember Eddie Doucette.
Yep.
If you listen to him, there were Bucks teams that were horrible. Randy Brewer, Jeff Crompton.
Yeah.
You know,
you had Brad Lohaus, Frank Burkowski. Oh yeah.
The Vanilla Gorilla.
Yeah.
You know, but you know what? Eddie Doucette made it great. Just like Euchre, Brewers are getting blown out. But if you're listening to Euchre, he made that game. So to me, it can be good, even with horrible teams, if you have that right announcer, just like Charlie said. You guys have a great night.
Awesome. Take care. Thank you so much. Jake Kokorowski, our guy from Badger Observer, texted me. Favorite moment from that Bucks championship championship year? Watching the games with neighbors outdoors. Looked up at a projector on the outside. Was dark enough to watch games, and we pulled up chairs in our cul-de-sac. Games 5 and 6 were epic.
Oh, that sounds so awesome. That's so funny. Like nicknames, just how they change from like generation to generation. Because like the Vanilla Gorilla to me and my friends, that was Joel Prisbilla. We called him
Correct.
the Vanilla Gorilla. So it's just so funny that goofy nickname just transcends different guys, different big old white guys.
Big old white guys, right? Joel Prisbilla. That didn't work out either. Okay, take a quick time out. Come back. Charlie's Sounds of the Day. We'll see what he picked out for us today. Looking forward to seeing. Yeah, because I really don't know. Most days, I have no idea which way he's going with it. I do know, though, Bryan and Stratton College in Wauwatosa is really, really good. Are you looking for a college where you can excel in the classroom and on the field? At Bryan and Stratton College's Wauwatosa campus, you can compete in NJCAA Division II athletics with more than 20 men's and women's teams to choose from. Keep playing the sport you love while earning your associate degree in business, healthcare, criminal justice, or digital marketing. Athletic scholarships are available for those who qualify. Let me say this again. For those of you that are thinking about D3 and really never even thought about D2 and going to a JUCO with Bryan and Stratton, athletic scholarships are available. So, again, nothing against D3. But with a JUCO school, 2 years, if you play really well, maybe you end up going D1 after your second year at Bryan and Stratton and getting to play D1 ball that way. That's awesome. That is so cool. And then there's scholarship money to help you pay for it. On top of it, it's a no-brainer. Visit bryanstratton.edu, regardless of where you may be. Duluth, Wausau, Madison, Green Bay, Appleton, Door County, wherever you may be listening. You can go to Bryan and Stratton. Visit bryanstratton.edu and discover how Bryan and Stratton College is built different for you. And this is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome in. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, proudly outfitted by Burkhardt Sporting Goods, our official apparel partner. Outfit your team or company with custom apparel today at BSG1881.com. Just got my kid a new bat over there at Burkhardt's over the weekend.
They got such a good selection.
Gigantic.
Get to test it out usually too. That's another big deal.
They have those demo bats that are great.
Burkhart's is awesome, man.
It is. Yeah, no question about it. Had a lot of fun. We went there a couple of days. There was like 30 people waiting in line for the batting cages. I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to be here all day.
They make sure to get everybody through.
Yes,
man.
they do.
That's all that
Absolutely.
matters.
Yes, no question. So a lot of fun over there at Burkhart's. Check them out online again, BSG 1881. It is that time. So let's go.
1, 2, 3. What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, here we are. Let's see what Charlie has in store for us today.
First up, we're going to head on over to the Dan Patrick Show, where Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk was on the show. They were discussing over the past weekend, as a bunch of these stadiums in the United States remove their grass fields, all the players tweeting and posting on their social media accounts with the hashtag "We are worth the cost" in regards to keeping the grass fields in a lot of these stadiums. Here's Mike Florio explaining what needs to happen by the players for this to change.
It's all about money. It's all about cost. The cost of maintaining a high quality grass field versus the cost of just laying down a carpet. The lost revenue, if you don't have a system to protect the grass, you can't do all these other events. So you've either got to have the tray that slides out like they have in Arizona and Las Vegas, or you're going to have one of these complicated systems like Real Madrid has, where they take the thing like on an elevator and the grass field goes underground and then it's covered up by whatever else they want as their surface. And the problem is this: it's now a collective bargaining issue. And 92% of the players can say we prefer grass. Well, at least 50.1% have to prioritize grass when it's time to negotiate with the league. What are you willing to give up to get grass fields across the league? And it's going to be expensive. It's going to cost money. They're going to have to give up money. And what the NFL would want is at a minimum, they'd want to take the full expense of putting high quality grass in every stadium, and they'd want to split it 50-50 with the players. And I'm sure the NFL would put together this ridiculous calculation that would be trumped up to look even bigger than it's supposed to be. And they'd say to the players, here's the price tag for having grass fields. If you want to share it with us 50-50, we'll do it. So I think the only way to do it is to try to shame them into it.
I don't understand. I don't understand. So the first thing I don't understand is, if you're an owner of a football team and you're paying millions and millions and millions of dollars to all of these players playing for you, why wouldn't their health and their ability to play the game be of the utmost importance to you if you're trying to win a Super Bowl at the end of the day and win a championship? That's the first point. The second point is, why would you want to pay all this money to a guy sitting on the sideline for a year or 2 years trying to rehab to get hurt because your playing surface sucks? Why wouldn't you just spend the money and make sure your team can be as healthy as possible? And instead, listening to Florio, who we'll go with he knows, we're going to make this a CBA talking point when it comes to it at the end of the day?
You're going to have to sacrifice a different talking point then if you want to make this a priority.
What's going to happen is the players will be like, no, we don't care about it that much. Never mind. That's what's going to happen. The players will immediately bail. The owners know the players will immediately bail. Yeah, they talked up on social media, but if it comes to taking away their money, they're going to say, absolutely not. We want you to pay for it. We don't want our checks being touched.
Well, and getting fully guaranteed contracts and all these other things that you want done, having research done on these injuries and making sure that players are compensated correctly after their playing careers, all the other issues that you still have with the league, you're going to have to drop, or at least one of them you're going to have to drop to say, yeah, we want a grass playing field. I also think from the owner's point of view, what kind of bothers me a little bit too is that they bring up the point of wanting to do other events at a lot of these stadiums. Half these stadiums during the winter anyways, you can't do events normally. Like, I think you can figure out how to grow this grass for the summer and have it for the players through the fall and into the winter, and you'll be fine. Like, the ones that do have roofs and you can ship the grass out of the stadium every single time that you need to. Like, you can make it work at these stadiums. The problem is that they just lazy. Like, the owners can make this work.
Charlie's acting like he knows a bunch about grass growing and all this stuff. I don't think you know anything about any of this. But
I think that they
like
can pay the right people to know about the grass growing, and they can
Sure.
figure it out.
And
I'm
that's what
pretty confident
Florio
about
said.
that.
And Florio said that they're going to want the players to help pay those same people
And
to
the
figure out
players,
the grass.
I think,
there.
would be down for that.
I don't know.
I think it's only at the cost of a different discussion point that they're not willing to do. That's what the loss is, not even really the money.
Coming up on the other side, I'm assuming you have more clips, right?
I got one more, at least.
All right, we'll play the other clip or two from Charlie Sounds of the day since we're out of time. Plus, we'll get to our green and gold update. Then Jim Ozarski, Bucks beat writer from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, has been doing a series on different stories from that Bucks finals run, which 5 years ago today they won the championship. So we'll go down memory lane with Jim Ozarski coming up at 4:20. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky with you.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
It is time again. Welcome in. Hour number 3 already. What happened to this show? Holy goodness.
Flying by.
I mean, what happened? Okay.
And a lot of big news for us, too.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's good. Devontae Wyatt, we got that deal done. 3 years, averaging $19 million per year, $20 million signing bonus for Devontae Wyatt. That puts him in the top 15 to 20 as far as defensive tackles go, getting paid in the National Football League. So the Packers obviously deciding that, look, he's really good, and we'd like to keep him kind of going forward. Now, they made an investment in Kenny Clark as well at one point, remember? And then as he gets older, they move on from it. Devontae Wyatt, I think expectations, like we talked about before, 6-7 sacks, somewhere in that area, probably year to year. If he does more than that, awesome. But if you're going to pay him $19 million a year and think he's top 15 or top 20, he can't be having 2 sacks this season. Like, he's got to be more of an impact player in the backfield for the Packers.
And that's what Kenny Clark eventually became, was that 2.5 sack a year guy, because he was such a run first type of defensive tackle that I think people were excited about his ability to find those sacks early on in his career. And when it started to diminish and he truly was just kind of a run stuff defensive tackle guy, that's where it got a little worrisome. I think this is also maybe a reactionary move to across the league, just kind of the defensive tackle position struggling in general. I think right now you're at a little bit of a weak point across the league. You can see with the Rams pushing so hard to try to get Aaron Donald to come back because they know they have a Super Bowl team if he does, because they just trade for Myles Garrett. So bring that guy in. I think the Packers think along the same lines and know that they have Micah Parsons. Devontae Wyatt, when he's healthy, has been an exciting player for this team. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Let's lock him in and give him that confidence at least.
But again, the last line that you just said sums it all up, right? Hopefully he can stay healthy. Hopefully Jordan Love can stay healthy. Hopefully Zach Tom can stay healthy. Hopefully Tucker Kraft can stay healthy. Like, it is.
Hopefully Christian Watson can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Jaden Reed can stay healthy.
The player we don't talk about at running back, if he can ever get healthy. Right? There's so many guys on this team where you can't feel all that confident that they're going to give you 17 football games when the season starts. Now, as far as Devontae Wyatt goes and what he's been able to contribute, he's never had more than 5.5 sacks. Is that correct? I think. I don't believe he's ever had more than 5.5 sacks in a single season in 2022. He had 5 sacks in 2024. And then in 2025, he had 4 sacks. Now, in fairness, last year he only played in 10 games. The year before that, he played in 14 with 5 sacks. The year before that, he did play in all 17. Started 5 of them and had 5.5, where last year he started all 10. So I still think that number has got to be 6 or 7 sacks a year. And then if we get to, like tackles for losses, you want what? 6 to 10 tackles for losses, somewhere in that area, probably 6 to 8.
I think you want more than that. He had 6 last season in 10 games. I think you want 10 plus TFLs from a guy like this, especially again, if Micah Parsons, when he comes back, plays as well as he did last season, should take a lot of attention off Devontae Wyatt. You should definitely have more than that. And they need to be stronger in the run game, especially since the rest of the NFC North struggles so much defensively there. To stand out as the team that's got that talent, that would be awesome.
Yeah, they need him to take the next step. And as we talked about earlier when this news broke back in the first hour of the show, that how Jonathan Gannon decides to use him is going to be something else. Because we saw them play that, defense where you're playing a, 3-4 defense or whatever the case may be, and now potentially or a 4-3 defense to a 3-4 defense, and trying to figure out which way is going to play. Now, Gannon, I think, is going to play both sides of this. You're going to play some 3-4. You're going to see some 4-3 looks. And then how does Wyatt play from that perspective? Is he on the field for all 3 snaps? Is he on the field for 2 of the 3 snaps? Because at $19 million a year, I don't really want him off the field, Charlie.
No, he's got to be at least a 3 or 2 down guy. I think you want him out there on the 3rd down too to be somewhat of a pass rusher. I can understand throughout a course of a game if there's different situations that don't call for him to be on the field, but the talent in that defensive tackle room is pretty thin, man. Last season, towards the end of the year, you were relying on undrafted free agents to give you meaningful snaps, and you saw how much of a detriment that was to the rest of the group. You need him to be out there as much as possible, and I think in most situations, he should be the guy that's out there.
Now, Pro Football Focus is something that some people like, some teams use, and they like, others maybe not as much. I put in Devontae Wyatt. Overall defensive grade last year, 52.9. That ranked him 88th out of 134 qualified interior defensive linemen.
So not
88.
dead last.
But he's being paid as like a top 15 to 20 interior defensive lineman, correct?
Yes, that is true.
And he ranked 88th. Hold on. Pass rush grade, 71.4. He ranked 29th out of 134 qualifying defensive tackles. That's good.
All right. Yeah, we'll take that.
Run defensive grade. All right, are you ready? You're not looking, are you? Are you cheating?
I was looking at other stats.
Don't
so
cheat.
I'm not going to look at the
Don't
one
cheat.
you're asking.
I'm going to ask you now. Overall defensive grade was 52.9. His pass rush grade was 71.4. What do you think his run defensive grade was?
I mean, just off balance, somewhere in the 30s, 32, 33.
38.7
Okay,
ranking 118th out of 134 in run defense.
Yeah,
118th.
That's not great. Yeah, you don't like to hear that at all. I mean,
That's not good.
But he played part of the year, coming off of an injury. I think that's big news. It's only 10 games. Give him a full season sample size.
Now,
Give him a full season of starting. Maybe it'll be better.
Here's something else for you. Pass rush win rate, which is a big stat category for defensive linemen, right? Wouldn't you say? Why stand out in this specific category, routinely ranking inside the top 12 to 15 of all NFL defensive tackles since 2023.
All right.
That's positive.
Yeah, that's so right where he's getting paid.
I'm guessing that's why they paid him what they paid him. But you have to finish if you are going to be in that category. And the other part about this, we've talked about it, they need somebody opposite of Micah Parsons. Now, when Micah Parsons comes back, that's going to free up the guys inside because now there's going to be more double teaming going on with Micah, more paying attention to Micah coming up the middle or wherever they're moving him around. If you get a Josh Sweat or another pass rusher for the other side, that just helps Devontae Wyatt and Javon Hargrave and these guys out even more at that point.
It does. And I think when you talk about somebody needing to step up or going to get somebody else, I think that also helps Devontae Wyatt out a ton too. If somebody else can take attention away while Micah Parsons isn't on the field, that can help out a ton. So you need one of these players, and we've talked about a bunch of them. PFF has talked about a bunch of them that need to take a next step. And Jaron Cooper has to be better at the point of tackling because he missed 13.9% of his tackles last season, which is kind of atrocious. If we're going to be completely honest, Quay Walker would not find himself in the correct hole about I'd say 50% of the time. He was kind of doing what he wanted. I think that was part of the problem. Some of these defensive linemen like Lucas Van Ness, who's such a huge player, should be able to be better in the run game for this team. It can help out that way too. They should be a step up from a lot of these players on this team alongside of Devontae Wyatt to help him get his job done easier.
Yes, I totally agree with you on that. But again, you bring up a guy that has questions in Lucas Van Ness, and nobody really knows what this dude's going to be because we've been waiting for the last couple of years to see why they drafted him in the first round out of Iowa to see, okay, what did he see that we're not seeing? Is he going to take the step this year? Is it going to be now? Remember all the dudes working out with Micah Parsons this offseason? Did you see Van Ness?
I did not, no.
I didn't see Van Ness either. Would it have been good for Van Ness to be there?
Yes, I think it very much would have been good for Lucas Van Ness to be there.
Maybe Micah didn't invite Van Ness to come work out.
I doubt that. I feel like if all these other guys were there, it was just in the group chat.
Because there's a lot of the young guys, right?
Like it was just in the group chat, right?
Hey, man, you want to come work out? Come hang out. Let's roll.
Hey guys, I'm going to be home for a couple weeks here. You guys want to come hang out, work out with me? And that's just in the group chat, which I assume Lucas Van Ness would be a part of. Unless he's not. Maybe there's drama in the locker room. He's getting cool kidded out.
Stop. Stop. Don't start rumors. Don't do that. We're on a WNFL agreement. We don't need rumors started. Oh, he's on in the group chat. Oh, Sparky and Charlie said he wasn't in the group chat.
Somebody could ask Lucas Van Ness the question. I don't know.
I think I would be interested to know why he wasn't there. Like
Probably just doing other stuff. Like, I'm sure he's busy.
Doing what?
I believe he's a father. I believe that he probably has his own schedule, his own coaches that he works out with over the summer.
They haven't worked. It hasn't worked. You've been working out with said coaches for the last 2 years. It hasn't worked at this point. So why not try something else? I'm not saying Van Ness had to go down and work out with Micah Parsons for a month. Go down there for a few days. Hey, I'll come down during the week. I'm going to head home and see the kids on the weekend. Okay. Come on down. Let's see what we can do. Try something different, because whatever you've been doing for the last 2 or 3 off seasons has not translated to any type of big statistical jump of any sort. When you get drafted in the first round, shouldn't you be averaging around, I don't know, 10 sacks, 10 sacks, somewhere in that area?
Eight is usually the line I draw for like a player to still at least be put into the lineup. I think part of the problem is he continues to get the excuse of, oh, he was injured. He was playing with this hand injury. He was playing with this finger injury. Oh, his ankle wasn't right. You know, there's always a reason for why he didn't reach that potential. And everybody says, well, was still a first round pick. You know, he's a freak athlete when he's healthy out there. And when he's going, well, dude, stop playing when you're hurt. First of all, that's kind of the biggest thing, because he keeps going out there again and then doesn't produce at the level he should, and then continues to get hurt. It's very Zach Tom-esque. That's starting to get frustrating. Zach Tom at least plays at an all-pro level when he's out there. I think with Lucas Van Ness, people need to stop giving him the excuse. And I think a lot of the times it's the team that gives him the excuse, because they keep putting him back in the same spot when he comes back.
Last year, he played 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
He had 1.5 sacks.
Yeah.
The year before, he had 17 games. He had 3 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, his rookie year, 17 games, he had 4 sacks. He's progressively gotten worse based on sack numbers. Now, in fairness to Van Ness, I went and I looked at the Pro Football Focus grade on Van Ness. It's better than Devontae Wyatt. Lucas Van Ness, overall grade 75.5. Now, okay, 75.5. 27th out of 115 edge defenders.
Okay.
Pass rush grade 68.5, ranks 46th. Run defensive grade 72.1, ranking 20th.
Build on that, man. Have a good season this year. If that's what it looks like last year, build on that and stay on the field this year. Like, you were able to do it a couple times in your first couple of years, but again, there were all the reports about him playing through a bunch of these injuries in his rookie year and his second season. Last year, he missed his time. Be on the field, try to stay healthy, and build on what you've done.
This is something that, if you're Micah Parsons, and you had all those subliminal messages last year for Rashawn Gary about how it should be a race to the quarterback and you should want to beat me to the quarterback, and everybody listening to Micah Parsons knew he was talking at Rashawn Gary through the media. How do you get Micah Parsons to get Lucas Van Ness going in the right direction? Because face facts, if Lucas Van Ness gets 10 sacks this year, well, that's everything. I mean, that could put you from a good defense to a damn good defense if somebody steps up outside of Micah Parsons.
Why does it have to be Micah Parsons' job to get him going? Shouldn't it be Jonathan Gannon's job to get Lucas Van Ness going and putting him in the right positions?
No. Now, this is, to me, and maybe it's completely unfair to Micah Parsons, and if you feel it's unfair, I apologize, but he kind of has the Reggie White role right now. He just does. You've got to be the leader of the defense. You're in charge of everybody. If it doesn't work, this is on you. We're giving you all that money and traded what they traded to get you. Yes, it's on you, dude, to get players around you to play better and play with that. It's not going to be on the coaches. It's going to be on you to get that out of your guys on the defensive side of the ball. It just is. Just like on the offensive side of the ball, who's to blame at the end of the day? It's going to be the quarterback every single time because they're the highest paid player on that side of the ball. So it's going to go to them.
For the Packers, people blame Matt LaFleur and then pretend like Jordan Love isn't talented enough. That's what they do. They don't blame Jordan Love. They just pretend like he isn't good enough sometimes.
Wasn't that blaming him?
No, they blame Matt LaFleur for not putting, because they look at other coaches across the league that put Brock Purdy into good positions or put Baker Mayfield into a good position. They say, you know what, those guys are about the same caliber as Jordan Love in our minds, and they can figure it out. They get to play at MVP caliber levels sometimes, and we're just frustrated that Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur haven't figured it out. It goes back to Matt LaFleur every time.
I promise you, Brock Purdy is not as talented as Jordan Love.
He's not, but that's what people compare him to.
He's not as athletically gifted as Jordan Love. There's just nothing about that.
Because people don't feel like Matt LaFleur puts him in those positions. That's how they view Jordan Love, though.
Yeah, no, I understand. Okay, let's take a quick timeout. Come back. Jim Ozarski, our guy, Bucks beat writer, doing a couple of feature pieces here the last couple of days, with another one coming up tomorrow about that Bucks final run in 21. 5 years ago today, the Bucks won the NBA championship. Hey, summer's better with a Frosty in your hand. For a limited time, Wendy's is giving you a sweet deal on your fave summertime treat. A small classic Frosty for only $1. $1. That's right. Summer should be fun, not expensive. Treat yourself and celebrate with a $1 Frosty summer at Wendy's. But hurry, because this deal's over when summer's gone. So get it while it's hot, or, cold in this case, of a Frosty. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Still to come, the leadoff show from 5 until 6:30. Then after the last pitch, you'll make the switch to the franchise, Tim Allen and myself, for the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show coming up tonight here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Booker the drive. Booker the drive, gets inside, leans in, knocked away and stolen by Holiday. Phoenix has to foul, and a pinnacle ball throws it down. And a foul. Giannis on the alley-oop. What a turnaround.
Gets into the picture, comes up with the strip. Turning the basketball over and then off to the races.
Off to the races they went. That was Breen and Mark Jackson, those guys, right? That's who that was?
Yes, it was.
They were so good.
They're so electric every time.
They broke it up. Van Gundy, Jackson, and Breen. It was a complete mistake. They never should have done that. But either way, Van Gundy went back to coaching and so forth, and away we went. They tried Doc, and then the Bucks hired Doc. That didn't work out well either. We won't get into that. Wisconsin Sports Daily. Steve Sparky Fifer with you, joining us now on the screen. If you're watching at WI Sports Radio on YouTube, Axe, Fan Milwaukee Facebook page, Instagram Live. There he is. Jim Ozarski joins us now. Follow him on Blue Sky, Bucks beat writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. How are we doing today, Jim?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. That's a heck of a call. Even 5 years later, it's goosebumps, Sparky.
Goosebumps every time you hear it. They're just absolute goosebumps for sure. Okay, so you're doing a series of pieces leading up to, I think, through tomorrow. And I believe today was the day where they won this thing. And then we got to have a parade and all that fun stuff.
Remember that?
The Bucks won the championship. Yes, barely. I'm getting older. But talk about the series. Talk about the concept, the idea kind of behind it that you're doing for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel.
Yeah, I mean, the easy part is the 5 years, right? It's an anniversary. It's the first of, obviously, many, 5, 10, 15. We like that stuff in sports. But really, Sparky, it's kind of easy to forget that this was, I would argue, the least covered NBA champion in, I don't know, the modern era when, since the internet. Look, the bubble was one thing, of course, but there were 60-something games before then. From start to finish, Sparky, it's crazy to think like where the world was when this run started, right? In the pandemic still, testing, these guys weren't around each other. And so that was really the genesis of this. Like, we were on Zooms. We were doing this all season long. I never met PJ Tucker until like the next year.
That's crazy.
We were not live until the Eastern Conference Finals, and even then, there was limited media. While the world in Milwaukee opened, we know the parade. We were not open. We still had to be distanced and tested every day, as were the players up to a point. So yeah, that was the genesis of this, was to get to some untold stories that maybe other teams, other champions, their fans got to live it in the moment, whereas Bucks fans had the release of Game 6 and the parade, but they never really got the coverage, or they never heard a lot from these guys, quite frankly, Sparky, that whole year.
When we talk about that team and the characters on that team, the roles that all of these guys played, and you're covering it and so forth, is there a guy that maybe was more important to this team than fans maybe give him credit for not only on the court, but behind the scenes, as kind of maybe being that guy? Like, if you go back to the famous year, our one run with Glenn Ray and Sam, it was Scott Williams. He was the glue guy and so forth, and he gets suspended and all hell breaks loose and people get mad to this day over that. But he was kind of that glue guy behind the scenes. And after Scott Williams, then the next glue guy became like Irvin Johnson, was that next guy that kind of helped keep everything together. PJ Tucker gets a lot of credit for that. Is it deserved? Is there somebody else we should be talking about?
So there's two things, and it does tease tomorrow's story on PJ, and I felt it was appropriate to time it up with the parade, right?
Yeah.
And PJ Tucker was a Milwaukee Buck for 125 days, Sparky. No one really saw him or heard from him. He missed over a third of the games he was even in Milwaukee for with an injury. We didn't see him until obviously the run. And what I will say, the reason why it is deserved is, there was the Wee Dogs moment. We saw the Game 3, but it's sort of beyond that, Sparky. And Mike Budenholzer, Drew Holiday, the guys kind of talk about, again, the speech is we dogs. And what tomorrow will show, Sparky, is how he actually helped them get that. Darvin Ham said, he's like, we weren't choir boys, but we needed that little extra edge on court, accountability, all of those things. And it went even up to Mike Budenholzer, Sparky. Like again, they started in a pandemic. And so the first part of the story was, maybe a couple of weeks ago when this run started, Mike Budenholzer said he remembers vividly rearranging hotel furniture on a patio in the Bay, drinking wine with PJ. Right. And he admitted he was tough to coach. And those two didn't quite see eye to eye on things. But Bud kind of let PJ do what he had to do behind the scenes. And again, we fans, we could talk about it, but no one saw it really. And so thankfully, these guys, these coaches in particular, and some of his teammates will speak about it tomorrow at jsonline.com.
What about Drew Holiday in all of this? He obviously was the fan favorite, and I would think that even though he was more mild-mannered back in the day and really wasn't very vocal in the media or whatever else, he definitely felt like a key cog from a leadership perspective.
Yeah, and I will say, at least fortunately, unlike PJ, Drew was around at least for another couple of years, right? Where fans really got to connect literally in the community with him and elsewhere. And I think, that the Drew thing for me really stood out, Sparky, with the Valley-oop, the cut you just played, knocked away, stolen by Holiday, where he was not the primary defender on that play. He sagged off Chris Paul, right? PJ was, and Giannis kind of walled up Devin Booker, and Drew kind of made not just an instinctual read, but in that, if people go to the website and read this story, they practice that play in particular, Sparky. And again, this goes back to even some bigger Mike Budenholzer questions about lack of adjustments and things he didn't do well. That was an adjustment they did make in the finals, was for Drew to be on Chris Paul. And to the point of Drew's impact, the heady play to make it, right? And then honestly, the connection and the very quick decision-making to throw that lob to Giannis to effectively clinch the game. Not a lot of guys are making that throw, Sparky. That time and score, they're just not going to do it. They're going to pull it back, wait to get fouled, run more time off. And here's Drew just doing that thing, right, to kind of end it to Giannis. And so,
if he doesn't throw that right and that ball goes out of bounds, people are losing their minds on Drew Holiday.
Exactly. And he still couldn't believe his teammates couldn't believe he threw that pass. His coaches, it was one of those all-time yay, no, yay moments that I've ever been a part of in person and even after the fact. And you're right, Drew's impact in that first year, Sparky, was pretty remarkable because he brought a little bit of that edge. And then I think Mike Dunlap, an assistant, called PJ Tucker the Cajun spice on top of that.
Mike Dunlap, a very, very fun follow on X for quite some time. He is very funny. The other one, we got to talk about Bud, because we talked about this earlier as far as, they won the year 5 years ago. What's the one thing you'll always remember? I'll never forget being on the radio, did my afternoon show back in the day with Gary Ellerson and Leroy Butler, threw that thing in Milwaukee, and then the TNT guys. And between them and us, everybody was like, Bud's going to get fired. What is going on here? That Nets series, everybody wanted Bud fired by the time that Nets series was about over, and then they figure out a way to play. And they were getting mad at him for numerous reasons, whether it was schematical reasons, whether it was not playing Bobby Portis, whatever it was, everybody had reasons. Shaq, Barkley, Kenny Smith, everybody was going after Bud. And then you find out later that, they lose that Nets series. They were going to fire Bud. They were done with him too. And then, you win and you get into contract extension and everything's okay at the end of the day. What do you remember about covering Bud during that playoff run?
It was pretty remarkable. I remember being in Barclays after game 2 and, the reporting of, hey, Bud's on the hot seat. Literally, if the Bucks lose, he's out. And to coach through that, look, he was aware of it. Mark Lazary yelled at him in that locker room, right?
I'm shocked by that.
And
Shocked.
so, maybe we'll save some of that stuff for the 10-year Sparky, but it did happen, obviously. And Bud
Lazary yelled at a lot, but Jim, Lazary yelled at a lot of people in the office, out of the office. Like, that's the dude.
And look, years later, when Bud was fired, that rigidity and stubbornness bit him, right? In this moment, in the championship run, in a pandemic, that rigidity and that routine was very helpful for this team. One of the stories was like he called them break breads. They weren't just team dinners. It was team events. Guys remembered him. Actually, the one routine he did break was he canceled the shoot around. Might have been before Game 7 in Brooklyn, because he just basically it was, no, y'all are ready, like, to win. Like, we don't need to do this. And so, but he would kind of do that regularly. And to the team, it was, he believes in us. We're going to keep doing what we do. We're good enough to win. Now, the one big change was PJ. Dante got hurt. Dante DiVincenzo hurt in the Miami series, and PJ was the call. And then there was some other little parts in the Atlanta series when Giannis gets hurt. There was some adjustments in the Phoenix series, particularly Sparky, using PJ Tucker, sort of a battering ram on the offensive rebounds. After Game 2, Pat Connaughton talks about this. It was having PJ basically just run and body Chris Paul on an offense. They were trying to hide Chris Paul on PJ, and it was, no, take 250 pounds and hit that man. And then on the other side, we're going to have Drew Holiday pick him up 94 feet. And so, is it sexy? No. Is it a huge adjustment? Honestly, Sparky, it turned into one. So yeah, Bud was in that run. His stick-to-itiveness with his routines and his systems, with some slight adjustments, led to a championship.
Talking Jim Ozarski, Bucks beat writer. He's done an unbelievable job. Great series at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, chronicling and going back over that 2021 season. 5 years ago today, they win the championship. The night Giannis goes down, I remember doing the post-game show going, oh my God, like, if he's gone for all of next year too, and then his contract's up, like, this is going to be an ultimate disaster if he's out any type of time, because then all of the following season was going to be lost if he couldn't play. I don't care if they had Holiday and Middleton or not. Like, this was going to be really, really bad for the Bucks. Then when you find out, okay, well, it's not that, but he's still going to miss games, then even at that point, you're still like, well, can they even win without him at this point? But at least he'll be back for next year. Talk about, that moment as you're covering the team, he goes down, and then the post-game stuff and what's going through your head during all of that.
Yeah, so we were on the opposite side of the baseline that he was injured on, kind of right above the Bucks bench. And, we could hear Giannis yell, which is, look, Atlanta was open at that point. The crowd was rocking. They were winning by a lot. And so that Sparky was, look, I've covered the NFL for years. I've seen my fair share of like pretty horrific injuries, and that looked so bad. It sounded so bad. And then you see Giannis walk out at the end of the game to stand on the Bucks baseline, and you're just like, okay, well, that's insane. However, as someone who's torn an ACL several times, I know you can walk on that shortly thereafter. So obviously you're sort of waiting for the news, right? And the idea that he would be back at all, let alone 6 days later in a finals, was insane. So there's two things there. One was Chris Middleton, Sparky. If they invented the Larry Bird Trophy a year earlier, he's got that, right? To see him kind of carry a team to a final without the best guy was one thing. Then the next thing, this was actually one of the stories he shared that we didn't cover because we didn't know it. And honestly, the Bucks were never going to talk about it. He had to go through a 45-minute workout before Game 1, Sparky, before practice, actually, to be cleared. And he laughs about it now. And him and Josh Oppenheimer really kind of get into this. There's some colorful language. And Mike Budenholzer was, believe it or not, Sparky, fantastic for this series. To what he had to do to be cleared to play. He actually said, Sparky, they might have won game one if he didn't have to work out so hard. He had 2 practices before game one. And so it was a pretty remarkable his injury and comeback. And then the fact that Chris Middleton, as all of his teammates said, kind of turned into Kobe or Michael, whatever generation you want to pull from, as that guy. And I'm going to dovetail it really quick today with today's anniversary. At the end of game 6, Chris Middleton effectively hit the game-winning shot a few minutes earlier, and Giannis, the play was for Giannis. And he said it's the only time in 5 years that Mike Budenholzer listened to him where Giannis told him no. Like, this play cannot be for me. It has to be for Chris Middleton. And I think, Sparky, that also showed their connection as a 1 and 2 duo. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. I got another one for you. Talk about the ownership role and their meddling or not meddling ways, I guess you could say, through that run, kind of, leading up to that year, and how involved they really were. You talked about Lasry yelling and screaming or whatever else. But, Bucks fans, you don't ever see Mark Lasry outside of sitting courtside or Wes Eating sitting courtside. You don't know how active or not active they are behind the scenes with players, coaches, and so forth. So tell us some about that.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier Bud's break breads and team gatherings and why that mattered this year, and where ownership, this is a feather in their cap. Again, the world is in a pandemic. It's easy to forget this. They rented out University of Central Florida's football stadium for a team flag football game. They would rent out restaurants, like shut it down for the rest of the public. It's just the staff. Hotel rooms had there were things that golf courses totally done. It's the Milwaukee Bucks day. That is not inexpensive, even in a pandemic where maybe you're like, okay, these other places are searching for revenue. That's not Mark Lasry and Wes Edens, and they wrote it. It was a blank check for Mike Budenholzer to do the things that needed to be done to build a team through this, right? And look, the Drew Holiday piece. It again, Spark, you mentioned this with the Giannis injury and the Supermax, right? That was the story coming out of the bubble.
Yep.
And they had to green light the John Horst trading of Bledsoe, George Hill. Let's say you almost forget that the Bucks were on their way to 65 wins before the bubble. That was a really good team. And they had to green light the trading of the draft picks, going into the tax. They knew Drew Holiday had a championship tax. They win a title, they're going into luxury tax for the first time in what would be a 5-year run. So yeah, look, there is the story with yelling at Bud and maybe those guys kind of wanting to wield influence. But I would say, again, Sparky, when a team wins a title, it is top down. And Edens and Lasry do deserve credit for writing the checks literally in that championship year to let the team get it done on the court and frankly off the court.
There he is, Jim Owczarski. Read all of his great stuff there at the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel website, JS Online. Of course, you can follow Jim on Blue Sky. Tomorrow, big piece on PJ Tucker. Is that the last one in the series?
It is. So yeah, I definitely jsonline.com. We've got, again, Giannis sat with me for 1 to 2 hours on this. I talked to pretty much everyone that I could, and a lot of assistant coaches, just faces and names either fans never heard from. And that was the point of this, Sparky. Again, we just weren't allowed to be around. A lot of these people never talked about this stuff. And so, yeah, there's definitely, especially a lot from Giannis in particular, about the injury, this favorite moment of his from game 6 that had nothing to do with 50 points. And some of his own words, Sparky, we all remember the iconic sort of images of him crying on the bench. He talked about what was running through his mind as we all watched that in silence. So definitely it's worth a Bucks fan's view to go back and kind of look at all those stories.
That's good stuff. Jim Owczarski, thank you so much for coming on, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You betcha. Take care. There he is, Jim Owczarski on the S Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. one call. That is all. Coming up next, things that Sparky missed. Straight ahead, Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome in. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily. Sparky with you. Charlie Usen producing today's show. Habish and Rotier, baby. National reputation. Hometown service. Almost 100 years serving injured, hurt Wisconsinites, car accidents, and so forth. When you're in that situation like I've been, where you're sitting in the hospital, maybe you're going to doctor's appointments and having things tested and so forth because you're hurt and beat up from the car accident, cars totaled or vans totaled or whatever the case may be, and you're trying to figure out how you're going to afford to pay for half the stuff that's going on right now, and you're not sleeping and all this other stuff. Finding that peace of mind in people that you can trust is everything. I'm telling you, it's everything. And when you have somebody as established as Habish and Rotier that have done it for so long with lawyers moving in and moving out, and still being able to keep that high level of expectation throughout the entire process since 1930, it really is a no-brainer that you go to Habish.com. Again, Habish.com. Habish and Rotier. National reputation and hometown service. It's coming up here. Last segment of the show before we get to the leadoff show coming up at 5 o'clock.
It's a Plead the Fifth Friday, sponsored by Habish and Rotier. Who should have just kept their mouth shut? Who made a bad decision commenting on a topic they shouldn't have? Let's hear who you think should plead the fifth this week on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Served up by Wendy's with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer.
Now, normally that would be on Friday. However, I'm making a special exception to do it at the end of this show for a couple of minutes. Some of you are mad at me for my take earlier today on youth sports. I figured
the entire show. Getting text messages.
Yes, the whole show this has been going on. So I figured, you know what? We'll play the Open, especially for on a Monday. We're still going to do it on Friday. But just for today to end the show. Normally we do things Sparky missed. It's not sponsored, so it doesn't matter if it plays. So I just want to address this again, just to clarify for people that were coming in and out of this conversation. My beef with youth baseball is that this rule is in effect. Corey Knebel said he's never even heard of such a thing. A rule is in effect for youth baseball players. So like 10U, 9U, 11U, 12U, 13, whatever. That you can cheer and do whatever you want, but when the pitcher starts to pitch, everybody's got to shut up like it's a tennis match or a golf match. And it's got to get quiet so the pitcher can make his pitch at the end of the day. Now, there were some misunderstandings throughout the show. People thinking that I was saying it's okay to yell and scream at the opposing pitcher. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is these teams are chanting for their hitter with whatever chance they have, or, yeah, let's go, Bobby. Woo, let's go. And they're all cheering, whatever else. And then the umpire or the opposing manager, if they get mad because their pitcher is melting down under people talking, will then tell that other team to be quiet when they're pitching. So instead of having a team all fired up and rooting for their hitter and going crazy, now you kill any type of momentum at all possible. So the pitcher can play tennis on the mound in a nice, quiet environment. I don't understand.
Hold on. I'm thinking about another angle on this.
Okay, I like angles. What do you got?
Why does the batter deserve to get cheering at the same time?
It's from his own teammates. What do you mean?
Yeah, why does he? If that is to help build a momentum, isn't that an extra advantage for the batter then in that situation?
Sure, and the other team could do the same thing. Absolutely.
But then why can't both teams be quiet when the other kid's pitching?
Both teams shouldn't have to be quiet. That's my point. Both teams should be allowed to cheer whatever they want to cheer for their guy or girl if it's softball. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
But again, also what I pointed out before is that
welcome it.
It's not always about cheering for your own team. Yes, that's what the cheer says, but you know that it's to distract the pitcher on the mound. Most people know that's what it is.
Fine. Okay. What's
so
your
that's
point?
Again, it's semantics. That's all you're going around. That's what
semantics.
The problem is.
No, I told you earlier. I've watched guys get gone after when they were pitchers on my older kid's team because he was a showboat, and opposing teams would yell and scream at him and everything else, and he'd showboat and do.
That was in high school, right?
That was like 14 years.
Yeah, that's
like,
when we're saying that's what everybody said. That's when it's okay.
Right.
You can do that in high school when the kid's more ready for that.
No, you can't. They shut it down at that age too. You cannot do anything.
I'm saying that's what you could do. Like at this level, at 10 years old, no.
Man,
leave the kids alone.
You should be able to cheer and not go dead quiet like it's a tennis match because the kids.
You
got
cheer
to
after
throw.
you cheer. It's 2 seconds that you don't cheer. What's wrong with that?
Right. What's the reason of stopping? What? Tell
so
me.
that again, the kid can just play baseball and have fun. Some of these kids just want to have fun too. Yes, you're paying a lot of money as the parents, but you want your kids to have some kind of happiness when playing the sport.
Here's the thing. The pitcher then can go cheer for his hitter and can scream his lungs out when the opposing pitcher that he's facing is on the mound for the other team. Go cheer loud for your guy now. Go ahead, have at it. Now you can have your payback by going
or just
yelling, "Go Johnny," as loud as you want.
Or just have fun normally. Like, why do you need to
scream
at everybody?
It's just a complete
That's
fake.
Just because you like to scream.
It's
at
a complete fake environment. It's a fake environment just to baby these kids. It just drives me nuts. All right, that'll do it for Wisconsin Sports Daily, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See Sparky Pfeiffer, Charlie Usen over there. I'm hanging with you till 6:30 with the leadoff show. Then after the last pitch, we'll make the switch. Tim Allen and myself back tonight for the Potawatomi Sports Book post-game show here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Talk to you in a couple.